Yo, what's up? Welcome to Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, May 24th, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adelia Jr. Joining me is WWE superstar Greg Miller.
Hello, Blessing. How are you?
You look great today.
So do you.
Thank you.
But you just do it every day. You know what I mean? I do one of these things where I break it out for the special occasion these days. You're just coming in, knocking out of the park each and every day. I'll tell you, the smoke machines had me.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't go off at the top. I'm like, oh, God, when are they going to go? When are they going to go? When are they going to go?
The jib didn't go at first. It was freaking
So
me out.
that was what I noticed. I was like, oh, the jib's taking a little bit of time. I wonder if it's just going to stay there. And then Barrett was able to make it happen.
I pressed the button and it just didn't go until a
Don't
couple
worry about
seconds
it.
later.
Don't you worry about it, Barrett. You're doing great.
Greg, you know what I did this morning?
What'd you do?
I woke up.
I could have guessed a lot of things, by the way. I could have guessed a lot of things right there.
I woke up and I played some Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh, you're back on the horse.
I'm back on the horse. And I did that. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to pick up Beat Saber and play some Beat Saber.
I'm going to get a donut.
I'm going to go
I've
get a
earned a donut. I've earned a McDonald's coffee.
I did get a breakfast burrito this morning. Nice. It was really great. And then after Beat Saber.
Did you get the breakfast burrito from that place Kevin's been going to at the top of the hill?
No.
Okay.
No. I got it from the place. Like, it's down the street. It's the place I've been going to regularly that has great donuts, great breakfast sandwiches. It's where I got a tuna sandwich for breakfast, and everybody made fun of me because I ate tuna for breakfast.
Sure.
But they have fantastic options there.
Okay.
And I just had their sausage burrito for the first time. Very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Very, very good.
Good.
I don't know if I'm going to make it my main thing.
Sure.
I think I'm going to go back to the breakfast
You
sandwich.
tried it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want. Is this the breakfast sandwich I want to try one day? You said that I should.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to give you a breakfast sandwich.
I don't have my cash on me. I'll give you a cash.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just split half of mine because they give you a really big breakfast sandwich and I never finish it.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's a big day today, Greg.
Blessing. The days in our industry don't get any bigger than today.
Of course. It's Flappy Bird's 10th birthday.
Remember that when he's just like,
Happy birthday,
this game has brought me nothing but money and pain. I'm turning it off.
God,
God that was awesome.
God, I think I still have an Android phone that has Flappy Bird on it.
Sell that on eBay right now.
I mean, what if I wait 20 more years?
Nobody will know. Nobody will remember.
Make some cash. How are you feeling today?
Excited, hyped, ready. You know, it's a huge day with the PlayStation Showcase bearing down on us. We can't wait here. KindaFunny. A whole bunch of different stuff going on. You know it's a big day when Tim comes to our desk, and he's like, here's how it's going to go. You guys do games daily, then it's the Super Chat section. Tell the chat, don't ask Super Chats about the PlayStation Showcase, because when the Super Chat section ends, we're staying live, and you guys are leaving to eat food, and then we're just doing a PlayStation predictions part, where it'll be me and Andy and Nick asking questions, and then we'll come back, and then it's like, all right, damn, this is the fucking day. This is E3.
We got to run a show.
E3 is here, even though it's dead. The specter of E3 lives on today. It feels very much like the old days of coming into the IGN War Room, getting ready for PlayStation Showcase at the Shrine Auditorium.
Exactly. Like you said, don't write in with their YouTube Super Chats with PlayStation predictions. Write them in about anything else. Of course, we're going to talk about today's news. But I did want to start off with a couple of questions about the PlayStation Showcase. Of course, you can still write in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like Jay Maz did.
Well, I think what they wanted for their prediction piece after we sign off, after you and I leave the Super Chat section, which can be about anything in your Super Chat world, they want it to be like, do you think X or Y is going to happen? And they'll clear their minds and say X or Y, and then they'll tell you why they think it's going to happen.
So write in, ask if Bloodborne 2 is going to happen, and then Andy will tell you that no, it's probably not going to happen. I mentioned on stream earlier, was it earlier this week? Earlier this week, yeah, it was on Sunday, that if Bloodborne 2 happens, because people in my chat were talking about, oh man, Bloodborne 2, what if it happens?
Yeah.
If it happens, I said that I'll quit my job on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah, on the spot.
Wow.
And so,
what are you gonna do? What's your next?
I don't know. I've not thought about it. I've not thought that ahead.
A lot is on the line right now.
Maybe I'll start my own Patreon. I don't know. Get into video game documentaries. See what NoClip's up to.
Sure. Make a map. Make some maps.
Yeah.
Cloth maps. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to bring in a question from Jay Maz, who writes in to kindafunny.com/KFGD, just like you can, and says, "Happy PlayStation Showcase Day. Seems like the hype around this one is massive, so might as well lean into it. When it is over, do you think you're going to be left more hyped for a game already announced or something that has not yet been formally announced? Personally, unless Housemarque is there showing off something new, I expect Spider-Man to really bring it and become even more excited for it to release. Do you think something new is going to be the one to get you excited, Greg, or do you think it's going to be something familiar?"
What a great question, J Maz. Clearing my mind of the mechanism, I think Factions, or whatever Last of Us multiplayer is, has the most chance for me leaving going, like, I can't wait to play that. Because right now it's all nebulous. We think we know what it is. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's Division, maybe it's this. If they show a lot of that and actually explain what it is and it's awesome and it's cool, that would be it. As I've said before in PS I Love You on our great predictions episode you should check out, I still think Spider-Man has a high percentage of chance of being the one that is like, holy shit, I can't believe what I just saw.
Yeah.
I hope that happens, but I also could easily see, it is just more Spider-Man. all right, I'm excited for more Spider-Man. I'm not dying to play more Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And when it gets here, I'll be excited for it, yada, yada, yada. And then it could be Factions is the winner, and I would count that as a new thing. You know, what does Remake look like if they show this Metal Gear Solid Remake? Awesome. What if it is something completely unannounced? Yeah. I think usually the less you know about something, the more easily it is to get excited about it. And I feel like Spider-Man is either painted into the corner where we know exactly what it's going to be, or it's going to come out and be like, oh shit, I had no idea what that was going to be like.
That's my thing is I think reveals are more excited than getting more additional info on something you already know about. Spider-Man 2 has the benefit of not having gameplay out there yet, and so that is the thing that they can come out and go, hey, here's something you've not seen before in Spider-Man 2 and wow us in that way. But it's when you compare that to what if we see Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake? What if we see whatever Blue Point's working on? What if we see the next game from one of PlayStation's
new
big studios?
Astrobot?
What if we see a new Astrobot or Ghost of Tsushima 2? Like there's so many things that we don't know about where if they showed up, automatically you're getting hyped, even if it's just a logo. Whereas for the stuff that we know, you can have a dope new Armored Core trailer. You can have a dope new Spider-Man trailer. I guess another Death Stranding trailer would be pretty dope, right? But if you already know these things are gonna happen, I guess for me, I'm always looking for that new stuff, and the new stuff is always the stuff I'm looking for that new, and that's the way to get me hyped. Even though I will be hyped for the Spider-Man gameplay. Hopefully,
of course,
we get it today.
I agree with that to a point, and I guess this is honestly probably it's apples and oranges a little bit. But what I found myself today waking up and being unreasonably excited for is Diablo 4. Where like I was in the car and I was like, well, I need a Diablo podcast. I just put on Spotify. Yeah. I just need to listen. And I know a lot about that game. There's been betas. There's been this. There's been dev streams. We know everything about it. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready just to grind the shit out of Diablo 4.
Hell yeah. Another question I want to bring in from Furry Bastard, who writes in to KindaFunny.com/KFGD. They say, with all the rumors of a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, if they were to show a Metal Gear Solid remake as well, what modern gaming mechanics or mechanics from previous Metal Gear games would you like to see added to each? Thanks.
Good question. I mean, it's an easy one because they added it in Twin Snakes, but I want to make sure they had it here. Would be aim down sights, first person, right? It's easy to think about Metal Gear Solid, and we all love that game, but remember, there was no way to go first person. Now, in Twin Snakes on GameCube, did that absolutely break your battle with Gray Fox? Of course it did. You just back yourself in a corner. There he is, there he is, there he is, there he is, and kill him, no problem, right? Make me feel it, make me feel alive again. So that I would definitely has to be in there, right? You have to toss that in. What about you? You've had more time with this question to think, and Mo.
I almost don't want anything new, especially for Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that they're doing. Because
this is about Metal Gear Solid though.
This is about Metal Gear Solid, and I guess I'll lump Metal Gear Solid in there as well. When I'm thinking of other franchises, right, the other stealth franchises out there, the Hitmans of the world, the Arcane franchises of the world. I don't really want stuff to be taken from those. That changes
the game, right?
Exactly. And also, I think Metal Gear is so, in terms of gameplay, is so ahead of its time, just from the franchise-wise, right? I think the whole series has things that are so unique to Metal Gear Solid that adding in inspirations from other franchises sort of changes what it is, and I don't really trust a developer that's coming in to remake it, making the right decisions without a Kojima at the helm.
Yeah.
And that is the uphill battle of what is this remake going to be? Because if they make it and it's not one for one with what the game is, people are going to have things to say. People are going to be like, oh man, this texture on this wall is not to Kojima's vision. You guys fucked it up, right? Like that is the kind of pressure I think you have for making a remake like this.
For sure.
And so what I would want is something one for one, and I'll say the same thing for Metal Gear Solid as well. Like I think the dream and the dream, if this project were to be put in the hands of a studio that is capable, would be make a Metal Gear Solid, I guess original Metal Gear Solid with the mechanics of a Metal Gear Solid 5, because that is the peak of Metal Gear Solid gameplay, right? You can't get better than that. I think that would be the dream, but I don't know who would do that.
It would have to be. You're talking about like a ground up.
Yeah. It'll be a reimagining.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because we'd be back to the same situation of Last of Us Part 1, where we're like, Joel can't go prone? Like, well, the world isn't built for that. The universe, they're using the same everything. So it's not like, what's it going to go prone under? What's happening? There aren't long, tall grasses and things like that to go for. So yeah, if, fucking Snake's pulling off all these goddamn awesome moves from 5, you're going to have a problem.
So your expectation for Metal Gear Solid 3, if we see it today, is that it's just going to be Metal Gear Solid 3? With better textures, looking amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Fair enough. Greg, enough about the PlayStation Showcase. Let's talk about some PlayStation news. Today's stories include a bunch of PlayStation news before the PlayStation Showcase, an update on Prince of Persia Remake, and
Can't wait.
more.
It's coming soon, right?
Oh, it's coming real soon. Because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're-wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games
You think
Daily.
a table over break when we do that?
Yeah, I think one day.
Okay.
I think we'll get there. Remember, you can use Epic creator code KindaFunny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to KindaFunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, Patreon.com/KindaFunny will get you the show ad-free plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you, go to Amazon.com/Summer Game Fest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games. And then speaking of Summer Game Fest, right after this episode of KFGD, we'll be hanging out and streaming all the way up to the PlayStation Showcase. Come hang out, make predictions, and get hyped for some new trailers. And then only on YouTube and the live stream, there's going to be a 30-minute post show where Snowbike Mike comes in to talk to us KFGD hosts about your YouTube Super Chat questions. Stay tuned after today's handshake to hang out with us before the next Kinda Funny stream starts. And then over on Patreon, there's a new episode of KindaFunny, and this show somehow keeps getting wackier. Let me tell you, this is a top episode of KindaFunny. So go on Patreon, go check that out. And then this month's AMA is up with Tim and Barrett discussing the budget of Kinda Funny.
Oh, Jesus God.
Damn, y'all went deep.
It's a very good episode. It's a very good conversation.
I kinda wanna check that out.
Great conversation that we have there. We have a bunch of different topics that we talk about.
While Barrett is here and having his moment, Barrett, leave it in the shot and come on out here and show your outfit. Because I appreciate that it's PlayStation Showcase Day. Everybody's dressing up. Everybody wants to be, it's E3. We got to look good. And of course, that means usually the hosts, right? Kevin still looks like he rolled out of bed and swam here. You know what I mean? Of course. But of course, your producer here, CEO Junior,
great.
Boss Baby, he's going to be in the room over there all day. But he still is like, you know what? I'll step it up. I'll throw on the collar shirt, the sweater. Losing weight too.
Yeah, you look great.
You do look good. Yeah, yeah. Dress clothes do a great job of hiding it. That's why everybody dresses up to formal stuff for their wedding. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense.
But then you get home, you take it off. Everybody knows.
Roger said I looked like I was like a private school kid about to beat him up. You even want to know why?
Yeah.
Because I look like it's the bully uniform.
bully.
Yeah.
Love it.
Shit.
Love it. What was that academy called?
Bullworth.
Bulworth. Yeah, yeah.
Hell
What a
yeah.
game.
Bullworth.
Maybe that gets
Jordan.
announced today. Maybe that was a tease from us. To
That's
you.
that's Rockstar's partnership that people are talking about, that PlayStation's going to get exclusive. Thank you to our Patreon producer, Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money and RTX, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 4 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1. Greg, I didn't really know how to qualify this one because
Oh, yeah, you did.
well, yesterday there was a PlayStation business report, pretty much them talking about their year ends earning from this previous fiscal year and then projecting on what their next fiscal year is going to look like. And from it, like 5 to 6, honestly, a billion different news stories have come about. I've compiled it into 5 different news stories that I've also filed under story number 1. So we're going to get
Love it.
5 parts of story number 1. And story number 1 is titled PlayStation is on top of the world, Greg.
Hit the fog machines. We did it, Barrett.
Is that a PlayStation? Oh, that is a PlayStation. That's a PlayStation trophy glass.
That's correct. That's correct, Wesson.
Oh, yeah,
I don't like how long it took you to identify that.
I mean, I don't usually
Similar
just
to
don't
how
stare
long,
at your
similar
water.
to how long you had to identify me on a billboard outside.
Well, what distracted me was Roger
With
and
a
Mike
camera?
just standing outside of the parking lot with a camera, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Are we finally filming the Kind of Funny documentary? And then I parked my car.
You're like ready for a prank.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
Roger's like coming up to me in my car with a camera, and I'm like, all right, this is getting too much. I don't know what's going on here. And then I look up and I'm like, oh shit, okay,
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
what this is about. All right, let's start off with story 1A. Sony expects PS5 sales to begin outpacing PS4 by the end of 2023. This is Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. Sony expects PS5 sales to begin outpacing the PS4 by the end of 2023 as it gets back on track following component shortages that plagued hardware production last year. Shared in a business presentation, Sony compared the PS5 sales with the PS4s at this stage in its life cycle and said it expects PS5 to catch up with the PS4 by August 2023 and begin to exceed it in sales by December. The PS5 outsold its predecessor in its first year on the market, but sales declined due to the component shortage that was only declared over in January 2023. Sony has since ramped up the number of PS5 consoles it's shipping considerably, more than doubling its 2022's numbers in most months this year, so far to meet what it's calling unprecedented demand. The presentation also revealed that the PS5 is projected to begin outpacing the PS4 in all of Sony's key metrics by February 2024. These include console user spend, full game unit sales, gameplay hours, monthly active users, and monthly active consoles. Greg, this is on track to possibly be one of the most successful PlayStation consoles of all time. Does it feel like it to you?
100%. I feel like, the PlayStation 5's success has only been hampered by shortages, right? Of course, everything was going on with COVID being a problem led to video game sales being great, but then it was components that were hard to get, right? And we found ourselves back in that Wii situation, where in the WII, Nintendo Wii situation, where, if you saw a PlayStation 5 on the market in a Walmart, that was like striking gold, right? You were grabbing them and bringing them home and be like, somebody will need this.
I think we literally did that.
We did that multiple times. Yeah, where it would be that thing where it's like, if I got the email of like, oh, we're doing a direct thing in 15 minutes, and you're queue. I'm like, okay, I'd queue up and I would buy them, and then inevitably, immediately find homes for those PlayStation 5s because it was that hard. So it is exciting and interesting to see them on the cusp of this. To say you're about to start outpacing the PlayStation 4 is not unheard of or unexpected, but it is a great sign that we finally turned the shortage around, right? And so then it is, if you want to remove, great that the shortage is over, and start talking about the fact that, of course, when you go to the Wikipedia for, the best-selling game consoles of all time, PlayStation 4 is currently sitting in the number 5 slot. So we're talking about you're going to start outpacing that and be on track to, where do you end up with the PlayStation 5? Like, does it stick around long enough to supersede PlayStation 4? What about when we inevitably get the redesign of the PlayStation 5?
Yeah.
What about inevitably when we get the PlayStation 5 Pro? How long are we going to ride out this life cycle as you are, to be here 3 years into it, right? Give or take. You're seeing people give up on, okay, we're doing a cross-gen game. Not everybody, but lots, right? What we expect today, I think, out of all these first parties is going to be, if you are doing the major AAA game, a Ghost 2, a Last of Us, well, maybe not even Last of Us, depending on how they're going to do a live service thing, but you're doing one of the big AAA single players, we're going to see it be like, this is PlayStation 5 exclusive. Similar to what we saw with Horizon Forbidden West, of course, being on both platforms, Horizon Burning Shores only being on PlayStation 5, right? You're starting to see them drop all these things because PlayStation 5 is available. You need to go buy it. And even though there is such an install base for PlayStation 4, it's about building this future. And so to see it actually working and then be excited about it, and the complete opposite story of what Xbox's messages has been is, as always, interesting and fascinating to watch in this industry.
Yeah. For me, it begins to make some things that we make fun of make a lot more sense, right? When you look at The Last of Us Part 1 and how we were like, we do not need a Last of Us remake. Why are you making a Last of Us remake? And you look at, oh man, this is selling way more numbers than the PS4. A lot more people are going to have their hands on these new consoles than they had on the previous ones. During the pandemic, we talked about how gamers have increased in numbers, right? People came through, people were picking up consoles because they had nothing else to do while at home. Those people aren't just going to get into gaming and then all of a sudden go back to whatever other hobbies, right?
Like, it may not be as important, right? It may not be that you're locked in, but it is going to be that you fell in love with it, and now you see this HBO show, and you're like, you know what? Maybe I do want to go play.
Exactly, and the Horizon remake is another one we make fun of, right? And that's another one where I would even say way more so than Last of Us. Well, we don't need a Horizon 1 remake. When that Horizon TV show hits, there's going to be a group of people that are new to the ecosystem that want to check out that original game, and if they have a bright new, technically, PS5 looking game, that is going to be the way to sell it to them. I think I think this starts to make that stuff make sense. And also, I think this just naturally makes sense just for the fact that video games are on an upward trajectory in terms of people coming through in general. I really realized it earlier this week in our conversation about Tekken, where I went
this goddamn Tekken poll.
In my Tekken versus Street Fighter conversation, I went online and I was like, you know what? Let me do some research, right? And I looked up the Tekken 7 numbers and the Street Fighter numbers.
Let me stop talking out of my ass and do some facts.
Yeah, let me do some fact checking, right? And you look at the Street Fighter 5 numbers and the Tekken 8 numbers. I talked about this yesterday. The fact that Street Fighter 5 sold 7 million by December. Tekken 8 had sold 10 million by this last December. I went back further and looked at Street Fighter 4 and Tekken 6, the PS3 and Xbox 360 games, and those games sold 3 million and 3.5 million. And so you're talking about over double the people that came up or showed up for the PS3 versions of those games, bought those games on PS4. Those numbers are only going up, right?
Sure.
And the projections for these games are only going up, right? Street Fighter is expecting more people to pick up Street Fighter 6, and of course, cross-gen, cross-platform, a lot of reasons for that. But that applies to a lot of these games we're talking about. IPs are only selling more and more when you're putting out more and more people are coming into the space to buy them. And so, yeah, like more and more people are going to get their hands on PS5s. And I think you see it. I think you see it overtake PS4 in terms of numbers.
Wow.
My question is it on fire more than we even see, right? Like, is it not just going to overtake PS4? Is it going to infiltrate that top 3 spot? Do you have the list still open?
Yeah, I sure do.
What is
Right now?
PS4?
So at number 1, this is Wikipedia, million selling game consoles, best selling game consoles. Number 1 is the PlayStation 2 with greater than 155 million sold.
Yeah.
Number 2 is the Nintendo DS with 154.02 million sold. Number 3 is the Nintendo Switch, 125.62 million sold. Underneath that this is the 4th spot, Game Boy and Game Boy Color combined at 118.69 million units sold. Then PlayStation 4 at 117.2 million sold.
Where do you think you see PS5 land by the end of its life?
What's always hard to say is how long is the life going to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see it. It's such cheating with the Game Boy numbers, combining Game Boy and Game Boy Color, even though it's not because we're combining, Nintendo Switch includes Nintendo Switch OLED.
Sure.
I
mean, PS4 includes PS4
Pro.
Pro.
Yeah,
and all that
exactly.
stuff.
Oh, not, yeah. I think it's either it's going to get just below PlayStation 4 or just above PlayStation 4. I don't think it'll crack the Game Boy number of 118.69 million. But again, I'm the worst number guys in the world. You know that. But I do think that even with the shortage being over, them outpacing PlayStation 4 numbers, are they going to outpace them at such a place that they're going to make up for what they lost in hype during the shortage? And does that even matter? Does that mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you bought an Xbox, I guess, over it necessarily. Maybe you did.
That's the thing is when you look at the graphs that they're putting out and the influx of people picking up PlayStation 5s this year, I think they are making up those numbers. I think it's funny looking at back in January, I think it might have been CES where they came out and said, hey, the shortage is over. And we were all like, all right, cool. Like, is this actually going to reflect in real life? Let's see how this goes. And you look at the sales and you look at the availability and people are picking these things up. Yeah, I think they are making up for those numbers. And it seems like a lot more people are just into video games, period.
100%. And I do feel like that's accurate.
And I think their growth strategies are working, right? Like them talking about the synergy between TV and movies, them putting out the Last of Us TV show and the Horizon
You keep
TV
saying
show.
this. You keep circling. Just fucking say it. Today, Anthony Mackie comes out of the PlayStation Showcase and introduces a new Twisted Metal to time out with the Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal is going to be the key to PS5 success.
There it is. There it is.
Speaking of more success with the PS5, story number 1B. Almost a third of PlayStation Plus members are paying for its more expensive tiers. This is Ryan Dinsdale at IGN. Sony's revamped PS Plus service appears to be off to a strong start as almost a third of all members are paying for the more expensive tiers. Shared in a business presentation, Sony revealed that 30% of PS Plus subscribers have opted to upgrade to a higher tier since the new service launched in June last year. 8 million users are paying for the most expensive PS Plus premium tier, while 6.1 million users are paying for PS Plus Extra, accounting for 17% and 13% of total subscriptions, respectively. The number of subscriptions for premium and extra has also been on a steady incline since launch. So there you have it. PS Plus Extra and premium doing pretty good.
Who would have thought?
I mean, probably everybody, right?
Yeah,
like the
right.
fact that it's not PlayStation
Premium's
now.
the interesting part, right? Where I think, we've talked about it. Like, Extra is a great value. It does get you a lot of different games. Does get you a lot of free games? We're getting day one stuff, right? Whereas, of course, Essential is just getting you to play online or whatever.
Yeah.
This one giving you a bevy of different games and cool things to go play and stream or whatever. That's awesome. It's the premium one where it's like, what are you doing with this? Are you going and playing these PSP games, these PS3 games? Is it anything more than a sideshow attraction of popping in to play this old thing for a little bit a night before you pop over to your next big thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the brand name of PS Plus does so much for it, where
Sure.
if you're somebody who's been a part of PS Plus and you really like PS Plus, it's way easier to go, oh man, let me subscribe to PS Plus Premium as opposed to let me go do this different service that is PS Now.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think the framing of it is a bit better. And then also, to your point, I think if they start treating premium a bit more better and like start actually putting bangers on that, like the old, like some classic bangers on PS Plus Premium, I think you see those numbers go up even more, which is a testament to, damn, okay, yeah, like this is actually really working out for them. Like this was such a great shift for them.
You figure keeping Essential as it was, which is your access to online gaming, right, and your a limited amount of free games you get, like the catalog or whatever, was great, and then having these different tiers out there that are just a little bit more. right? And that's the whole thing we've talked about before, where it is that idea of like, you assume most PlayStation Plus players are happy with what they have to pay for PlayStation Plus, with the exception of every so often, oh, this month sucks for games, or maybe it's been a couple crappy months or whatever. Overall, I don't hear people complain loudly about having to pay for PlayStation Plus to play online, right? It's okay, that's the cost of doing business. So when you get that and then you look at Extra and you're like, whoa, well, Extra gets me the formerly PlayStation Now catalog of something and other down, that, okay, that's cool or whatever. I like that a lot. But then to see just a little bit more for premium, it's like, who doesn't want to be premium, right? You're going to put the money down, but then how much are you actually using it, I guess, is the main question.
Exactly. Story number 1C. PSVR 2's early sales beat the original, Sony claims. This is Andy Robinson at
Sony claims. You don't buy it.
Sony says
Blessing doesn't buy it.
No, Andy Robinson doesn't buy it. That's Andy Robinson's headline. PSVR 2's early sales are ahead of what its PS4-powered predecessor managed, Sony has claimed. Since it launched on February 22, there's been much speculation around how the next-gen headset has performed commercially. On Tuesday, Sony shared sales figures for the first time, revealing during a business webcast that PSVR 2 sold around 600,000 units during its first 6 weeks of availability. According to Sony, this was ahead of what the previous PSVR managed. According to a sales graph shared during the call, PSVR's predecessor sold 8% fewer units during its first 6 weeks. I guess that is PSVR 2's predecessor. The figures suggest that previous analyst estimates, which had the new headset having sold around 270,000 units by the end of March, were somewhat behind actual figures. In March, Sony's executive deputy president and chief financial officer, Hiroki Totoki, said he thinks the headset has a good chance of outselling the first PSVR, which had sold 5 million units by the end of 2019. Greg, are you ready to admit that you were wrong about PSVR 2?
What was I wrong about?
It's a success. Everybody's buying it. 600,000 people out in the wild have PSVR 2.
I'm not. I mean, like those. I mean, those numbers are better, yes. But throw it back up, Barrett. The thing you just had. Again, it's PlayStation Showcase Day. Again, they've talked about it's going to be PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2 announcements. Look at the more to come tab there. Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. Obviously, Game of the Year candidate. But everything else, Beat Saber already been there. Crossfire Sierra Squad, what the hell is that? Resident Evil 4, of course, yeah, sure. Synapse, Foglands, Green Hell, Behemoth. Today, they got to come out. As I've said in the prediction episode, they got to come out with one or two big IP that hopefully they're big. They need to come out with one or two big IP that are also great looking games. Yeah. But I'll settle for one or two big IP announcements and then two great looking games that have nothing to do with big IP. I just stand by the fact that there is no hype right now for PlayStation VR 2. There is the dedicated, I know them well, PlayStation VR audience that I still subscribe to on the subreddit and see still go on there. Don't get me wrong. I know that they exist. They love the tech. They're all about it, right? We love the tech. I just haven't found a reason for me to turn it on since we finished up review stuff, right? Like, I feel that is still the case. I feel like that is still the general sentiment around it. I doubt that if and when PlayStation VR is available in stores, not just on the PlayStation Direct website, right, that they're going to be flying off the shelves based on the amount of hype you're seeing publicly for it. I just don't buy that. And then it does lead into the question here where, we're talking about Totoki saying, oh, well, it's a good chance of outselling PlayStation VR 1, right? Again, what are the projections for this? What were their metrics for success? Are they happy with that overall? Where does it go? I still wish VR well. I want VR to be successful. I will be fucking playing Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, guaranteed, right? But is that enough? What does PlayStation want out of this? What are we going to see commitment-wise from today? Today's the first test in a long time of, okay, PlayStation, how much do you believe in PlayStation VR? What is your vision for PlayStation VR 2?
I look at today as the final exam of if you don't come out today and announce some bangers that we're looking forward to in the future, then you really just don't care about this thing long term, right? And that comes back to the heart of where our conversations come from, where PSVR 2, fantastic piece of hardware, right? Like the fidelity of it is fantastic. The comfortability of it is great. Like it's all a step up from what PSVR 1 is.
100%.
The question is, does it do enough for PlayStation in their market to justify PlayStation supporting it with everything, right? And you look at the 5 million sales for PSVR 1 at the end of 2019. Those are great sales for PSVR 1, right? Talking about this piece of technology that is in its infancy, right? VR trying to still prove itself and really make a place in the ecosystem. 5 million by the end of 2019, I think that's pretty good for that. If PSVR 2 is only barely outpacing that by the end of, let's say, the next 4 years of PSVR 2, if we're talking about 6 million headsets being out in the wild, does PlayStation look at Insomniac and go, make a game for this install base of 6 million versus the probably by then 70 million PS5s we have out there, right? Like that becomes a hard thing to justify, and we've seen that play out in history of who PlayStation is, where you look at the Vita and the Vita sales aren't up, and so it is, all right, let's maybe not put out as many first-party things for the Vita. Let's let third parties handle that.
Is this a pillar of PlayStation, or is PlayStation VR 2 just a peripheral?
Yeah,
that's what I don't know. Looking at PlayStation, I don't know what the company thinks, the current company thinks of PlayStation VR 2. So we'll find out hopefully some information today.
Yeah, when I was playing Beat Saber this morning, I couldn't help but to think about the fact that I could see Beat Saber shadow dropping today for PSVR 2, and I think that'd be very exciting for me as somebody who likes playing Beat Saber.
Yeah, but
I could see that being like the big headline for the VR side of things, and maybe like an update on Foglands or something. I'm scared that we're not going to get like a cool, like a God of War or Spider-Man or Shadow, like something that is a big IP or a new IP.
What about Marvel games, PlayStation VR?
Like what, an Iron Man VR 2?
Marvel's
Avengers something new.
VR.
It's the same game.
You put it on and you're still just playing it.
We're still shutting it down.
Nothing's in VR. It's just watching it in big screen mode.
What would be a Marvel IP that you put in VR?
Oh, I don't know.
That would get people hyped.
Oh, I don't know.
For me, I need like
it would need to be something new. Daredevil could be cool.
Oh yeah, we talked about Daredevil. Would
of course, use the echolocation kind of stuff.
My thing is, I think we need something bigger than Iron Man VR. Not in terms of IP name, but I guess in terms of the waves that it makes. Because I played a bit of Iron Man VR and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't enough for me to go, this is making my VR experience right here. Like, this is a system seller. Like, I think they need a system seller.
They do need a system seller.
And maybe that could be a Daredevil game.
I know it'd be weird just because you've got the proper game from Insomniac, but I did think of like first person Wolverine, where you're using the controls to do the schnick.
Sure.
Yeah.
People are shouting out Ant-Man.
Oh,
that'd be cool.
That could be fun. Get big, get small.
I'm all about it.
Okay.
Greg, you know what else I'm all about?
What's that?
Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames. Over on Patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, you can get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let Greg tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon and Summer Game Fest. We are in an absolutely stacked year of video game releases, and you can find them all on Amazon.com/SummerGameFest. I hope you found a few spare 100 hours or so to play all the amazing games that have come out this year already. From Star Wars Jedi Survivor to Resident Evil 4 to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, gamers have been eating good this year. But this is only the beginning. We have a summer filled with video game events, sure to be filled with exciting announcements of even more exciting games that are going to be coming out, all for your favorite systems, whether you enjoy Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, PC, or anything in between. And that's in addition to the games we already know about, like Final Fantasy 16, Armored Core 6, Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, Exoprimal, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the list just goes on and on. Go to Amazon.com/SummerGameFest for all your summer stuff all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games as soon as they go up for pre-order, or you can check it out now for all the games you might have missed on this year so far. Again, this is Amazon.com/SummerGameFest for all your video game needs.
Shout out to RTX for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking to spend an amazing summer weekend in Austin, Texas, the RTX convention is the perfect excuse. RTX is a gaming, comedy, animation, and podcast festival that Rooster Teeth is throwing in Austin, Texas at the convention center from July 7th through 9th. And rumor has it, a couple kinda funny people whose names may or may not rhyme with Mo Trike Like and Loey Moel are planning to head down to party as well. RTX has so much to offer over the 3 days with activities like a free paranormal themed escape room, achievement hunter, mini golf, VTubing with Ruby characters, and over a dozen live shows with guests like Dungeons and Daddies and Therapy Gecko. There are also evening events each night, from parties to a comedy showcase, an evening rave, and everything in between that can be found in Austin. Buying Ultra and Platinum badges will get you the highest perks, but there's also a solid deal right now where people that purchase weekend and daily badges get another badge for 50% off. Go to rtxaustin.com to select badges and to find additional information. Don't miss out on one of the biggest parties in Austin this summer. Shout out to Rocket Money for sponsoring this episode. We all love gobbling up content, and we have an understanding of what subscriptions we use, or do we? Do you know how much your subscriptions really cost? Most Americans think that they spend around $80 a month on subscriptions when the actual total is closer to 200 plus. You could be wasting hundreds of dollars each and every month on subscriptions that you don't even know about. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors spending and it helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money has saved some of us here at Kinda Funny a ton of money, and it can help you too. Rocket Money also helps you manage all your finance in one place and automatically can help you categorize your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time. So stop throwing your money away. You can cancel unwanted subscriptions and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindafunny. rocketmoney.com/kindafunny.
And we're back. And Greg, can you believe that we're still on story number 1?
I can't believe it. PlayStation owns the world.
PlayStation owns they're on top of the world. I don't know
own
if
the
I'd say they own, I guess they own the world now. I guess they're an evil corporation. Story number 1D. PlayStation is using Bungie to rigorously vet its upcoming live service games. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. PlayStation is using Bungie to rigorously vet its in-development live service games, it said. During a business webcast on Tuesday, Sony Interactive Entertainment reiterated that it's planning to have 12 live service titles in the market by its fiscal year ending in March 2026, up from 3 during its last business year ended this March. The company said that by the end of this timescale, it expects live service games to make up 60% of its annual game development budget. This is a notable shift.
You didn't like how you said that. I could tell. I can read between. I can read the pronunciation there. You weren't happy with that.
60% of the annual game development budget. Let's go for live service. It's awesome. This is a notable shift for SIE, which is best known for its single-player games such as God of War and The Last of Us. And SIE says it has made Destiny studio Bungie, which it acquired last summer for $3.6 billion, an integral part of ensuring these titles have the best chance of success by taking learnings from the studio's wealth of experience in the genre. The timing of this disclosure is notable, considering a live service game in development at PlayStation-backed Deviation Games was recently reported to have been canceled.
Go!
Discussing Bungie's first 10 months at PlayStation, CEO Jim Ryan claimed the two have a mutually beneficial relationship, with Bungie benefiting from SIE's global marketing machine. Quote,
Didn't you see all the skins? We just put out 3 skins based on PlayStation.
Quote, we have been working with Bungie for almost a year, and the learnings in both directions have been very significant, he said. He continues, they surpassed my expectations, and equally, I think Bungie is extremely excited by what they can take from SIE in terms of market reach, marketing, collaboration, and the ability to amplify their IP. End quote. 60% of his annual game development budget, Greg.
Again,
That's a
though.
lot of budget.
But again,
That's a lot of budget.
it is. But again, though. What does live service to PlayStation mean? This is the same thing we've gone back and forth on in PS I Love You here on Kinda Funny Games Daily. I know we have a lot of new people watching. Thank you for coming to join the excitement today. I don't buy that we're making 12 live service games by 2026 means we are making 12 Destinies. I just don't buy it. I think it will be PlayStation games and IPs we already know and love with live service elements sprinkled in the same way I always talk about in 2007, people coming back from every goddamn demo at IGN and going, oh man, it's got RPG mechanics in it. And now every game has a skill tree, XP leveling up, and you don't think, oh, this is an RPG. It can be whatever. It just has those mechanics. I think that's what they have to be tackling with this. Otherwise, yeah, think about what we're saying. You know what I mean? We're talking about PlayStation right now. They are on top of the world is the title of this episode, right? They're looking at the success and the numbers they have. They're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and be like, single player AAA experiences with great narratives have gotten us this far, and now everything's a game as a service. Let's go. Let's get onto Mars and shoot it with your friends or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just going to be incorporating some of those things into their games, and there will be significant probably failures. And there will be successes that work from it, and there'll be things that pivot around it. But I just don't buy that all of these experiences will be hinged on a battle pass and you coming in day after day to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, right? And I think what's interesting is them talking about we're coming off of 3 already, having 3 of the live service games out this year already, or at least having revenue from those live services. And in them talking about that, I assume they're talking about what Destiny. Maybe MLB The Show, maybe Gran Turismo. For right now, I think they are looking at that term broadly in terms of we're just looking at games that have a longer life cycle than something like a God of War or Horizon or things that are one and go, right? Even Horizon with DLC, that is one drop, you buy it, you pay for it, and then boom, like we're on to the next thing. Guerrilla will continue to work on whatever the next project is.
And just
really quick, sorry, looking at their little slideshow here, it does seem that they consider MLB The Show to be a live service.
Nailed it.
There you go.
And to drop in right there, Horizon, I think would be a game that could, for that audience, benefit from this.
Yeah.
Where what if it was, I keep using the Astrobot as an example, but throw it out of the window. And what if it was that Horizon, if Forbidden West was coming out after some of this had gone and more live service stuff had been done with it, they were doing challenges of how fast can you take down a Thunderjaw. This week's challenge is take down a Thunderjaw, but only use this kind of ammo or this kind of thing, or and there were rooms like the proving grounds, the hunting grounds to go in and do, and then it was that, all right, cool, that information is then shared to your friends list, so when I turn on my PlayStation, I see that Blessing was able to take down the Thunderjaw in 5 minutes or whatever it is. I'm like, oh, I can do that. And like that kind of thing, those kind of tantalizing tidbits to get you back into it. So many people enjoy these single player games, and like you say, put them down and walk away and never come back. What if there was a thing of, man, there's this challenge, they had added in these challenge rooms in Last of Us Part 2, and this happened, and what you're doing is, I would go with it better, but maybe they would, if you are the one on top of your friend's leaderboard, you get a special collectible PlayStation Stars. You know what I mean? Like something there is maybe maybe they go back to the old days of give you a cool PSN icon or something. You know what I mean? But something there to make you go play.
I think they're going even deeper than that. I think it is going to be the straight up multiplayer stuff. But I think it has the same idea in mind of let's keep you in this universe for longer. In the case of Horizon, Guerrilla have announced that they are working on an online Horizon. Like they've announced that game, and we don't know much about it. But in the way that you're talking about, not everything's going to be a Destiny. I expect that Horizon to be a Monster Hunter. I think that would be such a great fit for what a Horizon game can be if you're talking about multiplayer. And I think that worked perfectly. That would keep us involved in the Horizon world, and then you're going to have a Horizon TV show. Yeah, like you're keeping us in that ecosystem of that game. You're making that IP more relevant throughout the year, as opposed to these big drops every 4 years that we come in, play on a February. Or play in a February, and then a few weeks later play the other big game, and then like move on.
Right? To double back and talk about it from a different perspective than just a Destiny, right? Like again, I'm talking about how hyped I am for Diablo 4. One of the reasons I'm hyped for that is the Battle Pass, and it is the seasonal content, and it is like, yes, you can play, and I probably will play Diablo with Joey and Mike and everybody else, right? But it is also the fact that if I wanted to, I could play that all single player. I could go through, I could grind, I could have the different characters and get all that gear and loot. But I love games that do that. I love the seasons in Division because I do love a reason to come back to stuff. Whereas with, most of PlayStation's library, as we've talked about here, is the big stuff, single player, and it is one and done, maybe two and done, or platinum and done, but it's like, cool, I want a reason to come back like Horizon's DLC, but I'd love that to be quarterly.
Yeah, and it brings me back to a little bit of my struggle as a Fallout fan, where Fallout 4 came out in 2015, and I really enjoyed that game. I had such a great time with that game. I put in 50, 60, maybe more hours into it. Played it, loved it, put it down, and I've not gone back to it. And Fallout 76 came out years later, and it didn't hit. Right?
We had a great Saturday.
We had a pretty fun Saturday in it. But even during that Saturday, I was like, oh man, there's some things in here that they should fix. Like this game is just kind of rough. But Fallout 76 not being great is a bummer because when's the next Fallout I'm gonna get?
Yeah.
Bethesda's next game is Starfield. Bethesda's game after that is going to be Elder Scrolls, which means, am I going to wait like another decade for a Fallout game?
You are?
Possibly, probably. If Fallout 76 was actually good and actually hit, guess what? That means that I have this ongoing Fallout game that I get to return to over time and not have to miss Fallout like that.
Yeah.
I think Last of Us Factions can be that in the case of hopefully it being good, right?
Yeah,
when it comes out,
of course.
And Last of Us Part 3, we don't expect to come right away. Last of Us Part 3, like our thought of their next single player game for Naughty Dog is probably a new IP, possibly a new IP. There's also like maybe they go back to Uncharted. I don't think they're going back to Uncharted, but even still, if the next
somebody's going back to Uncharted,
somebody will. If the next Last of Us game is 7 years away, Last of Us Factions holding down the fort and being that multiplayer game that we come back to that keeps Last of Us alive in the video game side of things. I think that is the plan. I think that is what they're going for, and I think that's a really smart idea. I think what else is also interesting in terms of how they talk about live service and how they talk about expanding PlayStation's portfolio. One of the things, so I went through this whole slideshow that they put up for their business presentation because I love this
slides.
Nerd shit. I love slides. I love looking at these graphics and these graphs and seeing how they talk about their own business. And one of the ones that stuck out to me is the one where they talk about evolving the shape of their first-party portfolio. Because going back, again, the way that we talk about PlayStation first-party, we're talking about the God of Wars, we're talking about the Last of Us, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima's, these big first-party, premium, prestige action games that have these stories that we follow, and they are these games that get 9s and 10s. They talk about evolving the shape of their first-party portfolio here. Barrett, if you want to go to the slide, it's slide, I believe, 28. In their presentation, where in the PlayStation Studios, around the PlayStation Studios logo, they have different genres here. They talk about sports, right, and that being something like MLB The Show.
Sure.
They talk about action, which is what we typically get. Platformers, right? You can assume that's Astrobot, Little Big Planet, Neck, etc.
Don't bring back Neck.
They talk about RPG, the Horizons of the world, racing, Gran Turismo, and then shooter, right? Which is something that I think they could grow more. And maybe that's them talking about Destiny and stuff. But I think they're even growing when we're talking about the live services stuff. Under that, they have bullet points, 2 or more major releases per year, which they've been on track. They've been doing for the last 2 years. Interestingly, they're not doing this year. Or are they, Greg? Do we know? That's the thing. Right now, the big first-party PlayStation release is Spider-Man 2, and we got nothing else from PlayStation first-party. So
He's gonna do Bernie Shores like that, huh?
I guess. I mean, that's DLC. Do we count DLC? I guess we could. I guess
If I'm Herman and I'm trying to make this slide come to life, I
guess
am.
that is a major release.
They say major releases, not like new game.
Not new game. Give me more than that, though. I love Burning Shore, but give me more than that. But then they go on in the bullet points talking about covering every major genre. Mix of single player and live services, balance of big franchises and new IP, right? And that's just them talking about evolving the portfolio. So they're looking to push things forward.
Of course.
They're looking to shape things in the ideal way. And I think especially in the wake of them losing out on, or in the wake of Microsoft buying Call of Duty, right? Not necessarily the PlayStation losing out on them, but they're also losing Bethesda games and other games through acquisitions. It seems like they are doing a good job of trying to make sure they're stable, and not only stable but thriving in terms of let's put out high quality games in these different genres that we might be missing out on. And again, it all makes sense. It comes back to the conversation I think we had either year 1 or 2 of the return of PS Love You, where we had an episode about is PlayStation playing it too safe.
Yeah.
And a big argument during that episode was, well, PlayStation's all third person action games, like narrative heavy games. They're making the same kind of game, right? And like, is that too safe? How do we qualify that? I think PlayStation identifies that, and I think they see a money opportunity in diversifying what they put out, and they're talking about it directly here. And so it makes me excited about what we're going to see from the future of PlayStation. It makes me excited for the PlayStation Showcase today.
When you look at shooter here, do you think they think that's just Destiny, or do you think they are going to come out with here is our definitive PlayStation shooter?
I think they look at. I think if I'm PlayStation, I'm trying to make Destiny the definitive PlayStation shooter, right? Because that is one of the best shooters in the space right now. I think it wouldn't hurt to have another one. I think it wouldn't hurt to have an exclusive one, especially because Destiny is going to be multi-platform. I think you add in 1 or 2 more in there that are PlayStation exclusive shooters, because you're missing out on Bethesda now, right? Like, you're not going to get the next Doom or the next Wolfenstein. Call of Duty is 10 years from now. Who knows where that goes? I think as PlayStation, you establish a couple of more that you can call your own, that you have control over, and that you can call quality. Like, you need some bangers in that space.
Okay.
Our final part of story number 1, Greg. Story number 1E. We got some PlayStation PC sales. I'm going to pull from Noble on Twitter from this one. Spider-Man Remaster sold 1.5 million copies for PC, and Last of Us Part 1 has sold 368,000 copies for PC. So there you go.
I'll do you. Just keep buying them, PC players. Keep funding my PlayStation 5 games, please. I don't mind you getting these things.
Sometimes they work.
Later. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's reflected in the sales.
All right, enough of story number 1. Story number 2, we got an update on Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake. This comes directly from...
Shocking they'd put this out, because I assume they're going to talk about it at the UB Forward next month.
Oh, Greg, I have bad news for you.
What?
This is from news.ubisoft.com. And this is a blog post written by... I didn't pull the name, but somebody at Ubisoft. I believe it's Mikkel at Ubisoft. Last year, Ubisoft announced that the Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time remake project was moving to Ubisoft Montreal, where the studio that created the 2003 original would take over development. While the project is still heavily under wraps and won't be at Ubisoft Forward in June, it's very much alive, and Ubisoft News had a chance to speak with the producer, Jean-Francois Nod, and game director, Michael McIntyre, about its status, what it means to Ubisoft Montreal, and what made The Sands of Time such a unique experience. They then do a Q&A format, and it's a really long read. I only
Sure.
pulled the one question that I think really sticks out in this.
Okay. Okay.
And so the question that gets asked to JFN here is, at what stage is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake at now?
Nearly finished.
They respond, in terms of the development stage, we're in conception right now.
Oh no!
Conception. Since we took over the project, we've been looking at feedback from the community and finding our own way of delivering the game. Now we're building up the team, defining the priorities, putting prototypes together, testing elements, and looking at how we can include community feedback in the development as well. It's still in an early stage, and players should not expect to hear more about the game this year. But rest assured that we're all putting our strengths and heart into this project.
Okay.
Conception.
Hey, it's easy to poke fun at this,
Mhm.
and because obviously it's been quite the fucking ride.
Oh, I got
for
more
this
fun
remake.
to poke.
Okay, and I want you to give it to you.
Mm.
I'm glad that they started again. I know. Hey, guess what? We're moving this game to a different developer. Awesome, and the new developer is going to use all the old shit you hated and didn't work. I don't. And then the developers are like, "What's this code? Why are they doing it this way?" Blah blah. Like, no, like this is another one of this deserves to be done right. I love Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. So many of us love Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. It's one of those games that gets talked about so much that if you're going to remake it, you gotta nail it, because you assume this is, the hope for Ubisoft is to reestablish Prince of Persia as a premier Ubisoft franchise, so we get more Prince of Persia games. And so if you come out and shit the bed with this, and it is garbage, and like we all saw the remake when they released screens, everyone's like, "What the fuck? Why does it look like this?" And like, you got to go through and do it. So it's like it's easy that like yet another Beyond Good and Evil 2 kind of situation here for Ubisoft, right? Of just this game that's going to be gestating forever and hanging over them forever. But first off, good on them for letting the studio just start fresh and not like, hey, do exactly what these people were doing. Good on them for talking about it now. Get the bad news out now. Let's get, just yesterday or 2 days ago, this came up as one of my things about you before. We were like, oh, well, maybe it's going to have Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, blah, blah. Let's get in front of it. Let's tell you what's not going to be there. So when we get there and it's not there, you aren't like, where the hell was this game?
Yeah. And to your point, I think it's good that they're putting in the work that it deserves, because there is a big Prince of Persia fan base out there. There are people that really care about this game, and what they showed off originally when they revealed Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake, people weren't that blown away by. And I go back to the news.ubisoft.com post that they made, and I can read it's Mikel Reparez from Ubisoft that wrote this. He did also ask the question, why is it important to approach this as a remake rather than a remaster? To which Michael McIntyre replied, it has been 20 years since the original game was released, and not only has technology advanced, and which of course you would need for a remaster, but I think we as players and game makers have evolved since that time. I do not think a remaster would take enough of those evolutions into account. I think you need to do a remake in order to truly evolve the game to meet a modern context. And that sounds like them going, all right, let's not go the route that we were going, which looked very much like, hey, let's make something that's faithful, but looks marginally better. Like, doesn't look that much better, honestly, than what you had originally. Let's actually go in there and give people what they want, right? This feels like a bigger push forward, than
a bigger undertaking, for sure.
A bigger undertaking than what they originally had planned, but it's in response to the fans being vocal and the fans asking for actually what they want. And so, to your point, kudos for that. I think that is great. It's tough to read that it's still in the conception phase.
Because you remember, this got announced at Ubi Forward 2020. Yeah. 2020, and it had a date, and not maybe at that forward, but it had a date since then where it was going to happen.
Yeah. My big hope is that this eventually comes out.
Yeah,
I get
100%.
scared that it does get Beyond Good and Evil 2.
There's January 21st, 2021 was when it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, and this was, I believe, only a few months after that forward.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me that, it can go from that to back in conception, but that speaks to the fact that they're doing something else with it. But I hope it actually comes out. I hope it's not Beyond Good and Evil 2 where it appears and we don't hear from it in years and years and years, and we're like, where is this thing? Story number 3, speaking of business reports, Embracer shares have nosedived after the collapse of a $2 billion deal. This is Tom Ivan at Video Games Chronicle, and this might be the most interesting story today. Embracer Group shares plummeted by over 40% on Wednesday after the Swedish company said a major deal had fallen through unexpectedly. As part of its quarterly earnings report, the company said it had been notified on Tuesday night, last night, that a $2 billion partnership wouldn't be going ahead as planned. The company, which owns the entertainment rights for Lord of the Rings, as well as popular gaming franchises like Tomb Raider and Borderlands, said it had slashed its earnings forecast because of the deal's collapse. Here's the thing, Greg. I saw the story, was like, wow, this is wild. I added it to the doc, and then I went because I was so curious. I had to watch the video because there is the video of Lars Wingfors, the CEO, actually delivering the report. And I saw somewhere on Twitter, somebody was like, man, they seem pretty bummed out in this report. And I watched the video and I was like, damn, dude, it is dire over there. Like this is absolutely wild. And so I was debating on whether or not to show the video. I started playing the beginning of the video and you're like, wait, I actually do want to watch this live because this sounds wild. Barrett, if you're able to bring up the video from the time code that I sent you, we'll watch only a little bit of it, maybe a few minutes. It's a long video overall, but it's worth actually listening.
Oh man, they did it on like the KindaFunny set too. I thought this was like just an audio call. I didn't know.
No, they're here this morning.
And welcome to today's presentation.
And this is Lars, the CEO.
Oof.
Today is a humbling morning.
Oof, Lars.
Starting today's presentation, we would like to describe some background and rationale for the aforementioned strategic partnership deal. Even if it serves little financial value going forward, it hopefully answers some questions about our communications and our decisions. In the second quarter 22-23, we outlined our ambition to close a number of partnership and licensing deals that would be jointly transformative for Embracer.
Transformative.
We have already entered into multiple partnerships and licensing agreements with industry partners on both AAA games and movies based on some of our iconic IPs. Except for the already announced deals that have more limited short-term financial value, we have been working on one groundbreaking strategic partnership agreement that would have set a new benchmark for the industry. And trust me, I've been spending a lot of time on this. Negotiations have been taking far longer than originally anticipated, considering we had a verbal commitment already in October 22. The specific deal included more than $2 billion in contracted development revenues over a period of 6 years. The deal would have enabled a catch-up payment at closing for already capitalized costs for a range of large budget games, but also notably improved medium to long-term profits and cash flow predictability for the duration of the game development projects.
Guy's not happy.
The transaction had many of the highest rated global advisories across various segments on board, with several hundred people engaged on both sides. All documentation was finalized and ready to go as of yesterday. We asked for the execution of the agreement before our Q4 announcement. However, late last night, we received a negative outcome from the counterparty. This decision was unexpected to the management and the board of directors of Embracer. Capitalizing on our collective value through our partnership approach remains
like,
a
imagine
key priority for
you have a year end, like your fiscal year end report coming up tomorrow, and you're like, all right, we're good to go. We just got to finalize this deal, this $2 billion deal that we are looking at as the groundbreaking. This is going to set the tone for the next fiscal year, and it's going to set the tone for our next 6 years of having whatever studio or IP or publisher, whatever that was. This is what we're going to talk about tomorrow, and it's going to like
set the world on fire.
It's going to set the world on fire, and
spike
then
the prices.
Yeah, and then you come through, and it falls through, and you have to give the speech the next morning of, yeah, like
40% underperforming.
Yeah, we're underperforming. Our next fiscal year, we're going to underperform.
Oh, yeah.
They then go on to talk about how they also have internal delays, and so like. And I assume they had those delays to account for the fact that they were going to have stuff to come out this year. Now they don't have stuff. It's a somber video when you watch even more of it. But yeah, like it's fucking wild. I got no words for it. But yeah, like I'm curious on what this means for Embracer. I wonder what this means for the future of Embracer.
Well,
if Embracer goes somewhere.
I think there's two different things to take away from it. Number one, of course, is that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You feel for them. You feel for Lars. You feel for the entire company and team. Obviously, you're putting all this work into a $2 billion deal to have it fall through at the 11th hour. The second thing to take away is Barrett, hit my music.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite reoccurring Kinda Funny Games Daily segment, Bad Financial Advice with Greg Miller. And holy shit, does it turn out it is a lot harder to manage 131 internal game development studios than Embracer Group might have thought. Embracer Group has been betting big from the start, buying up every rinky-dink IP, SpongeBob, give me this, we'll get Gearbox involved, we'll do this, like, wow, Square, you don't want Tomb Raider anymore? We'll take it. Lord of the Rings, get in the boat, we're going. And how are they funding these games we've asked over and over again? And they're like, we're going to remake, we're going to put out Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. And it's like, well, fuck, shit, I wanted that. But is that really what it was? I've been saying for a long time, how is this happening? And so I'm not saying I was right all along. I'm just saying 131 game development studios internally, all resting on a $2 billion deal. God damn! God damn! How does this happen?
You gonna put some stocks in? You gonna buy some stocks?
I do not. I of course told everyone earlier this week to buy Ubisoft. Then they canceled Sands of Time. We'll see how that all nets out in 10 years. I would not jump on the Embracer Group just yet.
Just yet? Okay.
40% is down.
Put the disclaimer back up, Barrett. This is not real financial advice.
I don't know anything about Embracer.
This is not real financial advice. This is banter. This is podcast
This is just banter.
This podcast banter.
Yahoo.
Do not take this advice.
Yeah, Embracer Group's $22 now. That's down $18. And I'm dropping the cents because I don't want to say them. You know what I mean? But that's a lot. That's a big drop. So that is good in terms of like, you know, you look back at what's been going on for them. Oh no, actually,
It's got to bounce back up at some point. You know, Embracer has to have a
April 1st, 2021. It was 130. $130. Now it's not. You say, man, could they get back to that? I doubt it. But like, again,
it's hard to think. I mean, Tomb Raider.
What is Embracer Group going to pull out of their hat?
Tomb Raider, something Lord of the Rings, maybe Gollum hits.
And what you're saying right now makes so much sense when you have 7 game development studios to keep afloat. 131 blessing.
They got all the SpongeBob games that they're putting out and the Kingdoms of Amalur and a Saints Row. And also Saints Row is getting updates.
They are still working on Saints Row
Still working on updates. Saints Row can bounce back. They also did talk about in their thing some of their projects not panning out to where they expected. And I'm sure they're talking about Saints Row there. And so maybe not. But who knows?
Nobody does. That is the thing. Nobody does. I wish Embracer Group well. I don't want this to make it. I'm not trying to do a character where I want to see people fail or anything. It's just been from the start a big question of like, what? How? Huh? And there was that great gamesindustry.biz article, or I guess profile on Lars they did. I highly recommend everyone go read it and look through there and stuff. But again, you just think of as of August 2022, Embracer Group has 131 internal game development studios and is engaging more than 15,000 employees and contracted employees in more than 40 countries. What a fucking undertaking. And so, like, again, I hope and wish well and all that jazz. It's just then to sit there and have Lars come out with that attitude, which I get. A 40% stock drop. You just lost $2 billion.
That's going to go down as one of the worst days in your career.
But it strikes me so much is like when you see these documentaries or interviews where it is like, oh man, like this is kind of the Hail Mary thing for our company and it happened. So that's why we're able to keep going. I'm thinking a little bit of Double Fine when they talk, you know, Tim will talk about how he's funded games before, obviously Xbox before Kickstarter's not right. What was it, Kickstarter?
For what? I think it might have been Kickstarter.
Yeah,
shit.
I guess that's right.
For Psychonauts?
When Kickstarter, no, for Broken Age. I guess it was Kickstarter, right? Yeah. Now it's all, it doesn't matter. Anyways, though, that there were so many different reasons to keep how they barely kept the place going until they, you know, found success. This is a scary one. This is a scary one for as many lives are tied up in this that you get to the precipice of a $2 billion deal and then have that drop.
I mean, I think what does that happen to all of the entities that are under Embracer? Because it's like Embracer and then like 13 entities, and then under those are a bunch of different entities as well. Like it's a big umbrella that has chains and chains.
I mean,
and
I'll
chains.
full screen the Wikipedia breakdown of it all, right?
On their
And
website, they also have a fun breakdown. That I
Sure,
like
but
to
it's
look at.
Embracer Group, and then underneath them is Amplifier Game Invest, CDE Entertainment, Coffee Stain Holding. And for the record, ladies
Coffee
and gentlemen,
Stain Holding?
these aren't the developers; these are the parent companies.
Yeah.
So like it's like Coffee Stain Holding, which has Box Dragon, Coffee Stain Gothenburg, Coffee Stain Milano, and then go Easy Trigger, Go Ship Games, blah 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 blah. Then there's Gearbox Entertainment. Then there's Playon. Playon? No, it's Playon.
Playon.
No, I know. Saber Group, THQ Nordic. Then there's mobile games, DECA games, like entertainments and services.
What's
But
funny
it's
is that Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal are just their own thing. Like they're not under a Playon or a THQ or anything. It's all these big entities and then Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal. Which then my question is, do those then? I would assume that all of these just get bought up.
For the record, Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal under CDE Entertainment,
CDE Entertainment,
which is just
Okay.
it's just them. So I think it's just like CD for Crystal Dynamics and E for
CDE.
Eidos.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so I'm sorry. What happens to them?
Well, I assume they get all these have to get bought up then, right?
Well, they're already bought. Oh, you mean like what happens
Like
with
if
Embracer
if
Group?
Embracer goes down, like like it turns into a buying spree.
We're getting ahead of ourselves and like maybe
Yeah.
way too much canary
Sure.
in the coal mine situation. But yeah, if Embracer went away tomorrow, that's not going to happen. What if things get dire, right? What do? You start closing studios, you start selling studios, right? To try to make the bottom line make sense. Because again, now if you're, and again, you don't have to play the song, you have to put up the not real financial advice. I, of course, don't know anything about financial stuff. But if I'm a stockholder and we get to a $2 billion deal falling through the night before and then 40% drop, and then it is this whole thing of like, is this an Emperor Has No Clothes situation? Like, what do you have coming up that's going to make money? What is the big, big
I
thing?
mean, according to like more of that video, nothing in the next fiscal year, nothing. Like they moved all their games, they delayed all their games because they thought they were gonna have this big financial backing, with this acquisition that they wanted to make. I have so many questions, and it's funny because it's. Well, I guess we do have a post show that we can talk more about this on. My question is, who the fuck dropped out? Who was the $2 billion acquisition that dropped out of nowhere?
Was it? Did they label it as an acquisition or was it a deal? What were his exact things?
That's a good question.
Challenging year. The specific deal included more than $2 billion in contracted development revenue over a period of 6
So it's probably
years.
just a deal.
The deal would have enabled the catch-up payment at closing for already capitalized costs for a range of large budget games, but also notably improved medium to long-term profit and cash flow predictability for the jury.
But my
So,
question
yeah.
is, who's the deal? Who was the deal with?
I mean, who's got $2 billion to throw around to make
PlayStation,
games?
Microsoft,
Disney?
Disney. But who's gonna like string along Embracer Group like that? Because I don't see PlayStation working with Embracer Group on that level, on like a $2 billion deal level. They don't really need that. Xbox also doesn't really need that. Maybe I mean, they do have like a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. Maybe it literally is
But that's
Nickelodeon.
already a deal, though. That's something that they're already in
I guess,
contract
yeah.
with. Unless this was like an updated one.
Maybe.
Updated
I mean, maybe this
one.
is like the next 10 years of Nickelodeon games. Can get
I've been watching.
No way
by
that's
Embracer.
a $2 billion deal.
I've been watching another documentary called Succession.
Uh-huh.
And in there, like, there's always people trying to, ruin deals and do stuff
Not
and
a
fudging
documentary.
numbers and stuff. Maybe they do. I'm pretty sure it's a documentary. A lot of behind the scenes footage they got. I don't know how they got it at all. But like maybe it's one of those where they figured out somebody was fudging numbers and that all fell
Yeah.
through. But
Somebody
it's the
said 10 cents.
11th fucking hour to string them along to the moment, like it's like
The day
you are,
before your
you are
financial
4
report.
hours away from giving this report.
Like they had to go up and give a report in front of the internet and the world about where you're at as a company. And that night you learn that like, oh shit, we don't have a future.
We ain't got it. We ain't got the stuff.
anything to talk about. So you have to put this together in 4 hours. I feel for you, Lawrence.
100%. I feel for Lars. I feel for everybody who's under the Embracer umbrella and stuff like that. I want to make sure that it's not that we're dancing on their grave. It's just that they have been so fucking intense. Bullish. I don't know if bull or bear is the right one, but they've been so bullish, I think is the right phrase, of going and getting these things and these properties and doing. It's just like, wow, you guys must know something we don't. And then you get to here and it's like, oh, do you, or are you just still, making these deals to make the profits do the thing? And like, where do you go from here? What does this really do? Does the stock continue to drop? Like you're saying, there's nothing in this report that then says, hey, we're going to do awesome though. Don't worry about it. They're clearly worried.
Yeah,
about
the whole tone is.
brace for impact. This has been a humbling day. Yeah.
Yeah, he starts off with, "It's been a humbling day." But yeah, wild story. let's round out the Roper Report with story number 4. Some good news. Expect Lies of P at Summer Game Fest. The Lies of P Twitter account tweeted out this morning, "We're packed and on the move. I do wonder if Summer Game Fest is prepared for us, ... with a gif of the game." And they quote tweeted the Summer Game Fest announcement, hinting at the idea, probably the fact that they're going to be at Summer Game Fest. And so get hyped for that. I'm excited for Lies of P. Andy's excited. Barrett's excited. We're all excited for Lies of P, except for maybe Greg. Are you excited? Playing as Pinocchio in a Bloodborne world?
I'm excited to know more about it. The fact that you guys are hyped about it, I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm not the biggest Bloodborne Souls guy, so like, and I'm not the biggest
What about
Pinocchio guy. Yeah.
Oh,
no.
You don't like Jiminy Cricket?
I like Jiminy Cricket. He's not in this.
I think there's a version. There's like a cricket guy. I think Jiminy Cricket legally is Disney.
It's Disney.
But they have a like. whatever
Jiminy
the
Cricket I
original
always
version
fucked
was.
with. Geppetto though gave me weird vibes.
Oh yeah, Geppetto.
Keep putting Pinocchio in short shorts.
It's like why are you creating wooden children with noses?
Yeah. Couldn't have a kid. Well, maybe if you weren't always in your workshop, you could find a lover to make a child.
Greg, I'm excited about the future of Pinocchio. Since the IP is, you can use it for whatever now.
Yeah.
It's what do they call it? Open Commons or some shit like that. Like anybody can pick up Pinocchio.
Public domain.
Public domain.
Yo, Pinocchio and Winnie the Pooh are in open comments.
Anybody can make a Pinocchio now.
Creative Commons.
Creative Commons is what I was thinking of. But the future of Pinocchio, those most wild Pinocchio creation you can think of, is so far away. If I want to know what's coming out to mom and grop shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the KindaFunny Games Daily Show hosts each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, we got Dark Quest 3 for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Switch. Cruise Ship Manager for PC. And then Gran Turismo 7 Update 1.34 is out now. That includes 3 new cars. Those are the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GT Veloce 67. That's just one of them.
I appreciate it.
I tried my best.
You did? No, you crushed it. I'm not making fun of you.
We got the Greening Auto Company Maverick, and then the Nissan GTR Nismo R3290. Hell yeah. And then
oh, yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I like.
Love me a Nissan.
Love that.
We got the engine swap in GT Auto, and then GT Cafe extra menus. New dates for you. Vodego 1.0 launches June 8th on Steam after 2 years of early access. Now it's time for KindaFunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Dennis J writes in and says, missed news potentially. Hideo Kojima documentary will be premiering at Tribeca Film Festival.
Nice.
Hell yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool.
You want to go?
This people are talking about PSVR stuff. It's more that's the clarification.
Editorializing?
Yeah, editorializing. And then Alfa Romeo is pronounced Alfa Romeo, like mayonnaise.
Okay.
Thank you, New AJ. I almost went that route, but like there was no accent aigu on the E, and so I was trying to play it safe and just going Romeo. But I appreciate the correction. And that's it, Greg, for KindaFunny.com/you're wrong. Tomorrow's hosts for the show are going to be me and Tim. If you're watching this live, remember we're trying something new with YouTube Super Chats. We're going to do a post show right after this episode on YouTube and the live stream. So hang out with us, write in your Super Chats, and we'll answer your questions. Also remember, go to Amazon.com/SummerGameFest all summer long to discover the top new and upcoming games.
And don't forget, it's PlayStation Showcase Day.
Yeah.
So we're doing this Super Chat thing where we're asking you not to ask about PlayStation Showcase predictions because we're going to go to like 11:30. Then it's going to be Tim and Mike out here with Nick answering their PlayStation Showcases thing all the way up until 1 o'clock, where we'll all come back, live react to a PlayStation Showcase on Twitch and YouTube. And then, of course, once the showcase ends, our post show is PS I Love You XOXO. It will be live for everyone, recorded right in front of you, and then go up as a podcast. So you don't have to go anywhere if you want all the PlayStation news today.
You excited for the showcase, Greg?
A little bit.
I'm a little bit also.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as hype as Koch Media Showcase happening.
Oh my God. You know what I mean? I can't wait for the next Embracer Showcase.
Oh God, let's go. Of course, this has been KindaFunny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on YouTube and Twitch. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, Game Daily.
What was the deal? What was the $2 billion deal?
It had,
Marvel?
the question is who would make a deal with Embracer? Because I don't think
People who want games and a lot of them.
Yeah, and I don't.
I want games and I want a lot of them fast. Embracer's like, we got
And I
you.
don't care about quality. That's the other thing. It's like, again, no offense to Embracer, but like a lot of their games are, hey, we're putting out that double A stuff
Yeah,
that's gonna hit
yeah,
at like
yeah.
sweet sevens, which is great for a lot of people, right?
Sure.
Like I know a few people that really enjoyed Biomutant, but who is looking for that? Like who is the person that's approached them and going, we won a lot of games at whatever pace. I don't think PlayStation's approaching them. I don't think Xbox. I don't even think Marvel, because Marvel Games has their shit down, right? They know what they're doing over there.
But they work with other developers. That's their whole thing.
Yeah. But like a $2 billion deal with Embracer?
And they've been making, except for Avengers, smart decisions on who they're partnering with
Yeah.
with that thing. Even from
Unless
a business sense, seeing how much Embracer has been ballooning for the last few years, like I find it doubtful that they would have looked at Embracer and been like, yeah, we should partner with them.
Like I would think that maybe it is, if Marvel was involved, it would be them talking to Eidos about Guardians,
Sure.
right? But like that's not a $2 billion deal.
Yeah, of course. I don't know, man. Let's move on to Super Chat.
Let's move on to Super Chats.
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we've asked you politely to save your PlayStation prediction questions until Tim and Mike get here to walk you into the 1 o'clock show and the 1 o'clock hour. So now we're going through and answering all the Super Chats. Of course, you can go to youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames.
A lot of people are saying Saudi Arabia,
that makes a lot of sense.
which could make a lot of sense, yeah.
But even then, it sounds like a strategic thing that was going to reshape the industry. I don't know. It's all
Yeah,
buzzwords.
it doesn't sound like
it all's
that.
buzzwords, I guess. Game Jumper X gave us a super and said, yesterday I went faster than light. It was dark. Okay. I don't know what that means. Good for you.
Is that about the game, FTL?
I don't know, man. Waleed is now Game Cat, and then it cuts off because that you have a really long username. PlayStation VR 2 sales are impressive at 600K. Your thoughts? We already gave them to you on the show. I appreciate that you super chatted thinking we were going to ignore the PlayStation VR news.
Of course.
That we were not going to talk about a platform we enjoy and want to do better.
We hate covering it, and we hate the hardware.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I really want
It's
some good
our
stuff
fault
today.
that it's this unsuccessful.
What's funny is somebody in chat was like, "Oh man, blessings of avoiding the PSVR 2. You're wrong," because he's trying to avoid making more coverage of it. The PSVR 2, you're wrong, was negative about PSVR 2 for the record.
What was it?
It was from Ignacio Rojas. Something about
Is Ignacio the one who said it in chat?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Ignacio in chat. It was some other random name.
Okay.
Yeah, it was somebody I didn't recognize, and nobody.
Just some looky Lou who's here for the showcase. We don't care.
Yeah, it was Ignacio and you're wrong saying that PSVR 2 sales are slowing faster than PSVR. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Feel the Surge wrote in and said, best showcase moment so far, Final Fantasy 16 reveal for me.
Ooh, showcase of all time or
Yeah.
PlayStation showcase?
Well, open interpretation,
Okay.
I think personally.
I'm gonna do PlayStation showcase because that's a bit. That's a conversation I don't think we've had yet. Best PlayStation showcase moment, and this is me going from 2020. This isn't even me doing the E3 presentations of the past. I'll say Wolverine. I think Wolverine. That announcement
that was good.
Was really good and unexpected. I think the way they framed that announcement too, with the Insomniac logo and you expecting it to be Spider-Man and it being Wolverine, was such a strong way to do it. I got to go that.
I have to look back because I can't remember. Because if it was any showcase of all time, you know what I mean? Like, you want to answer that? Like, I mean, God of War was a pretty huge reveal back at E3 that one time, or was that at PSX? I can't remember.
That was E3.
It was in a fucking dark theater, so that's all I remember. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII, that was a huge deal. I, of course, have a soft spot for Kevin Butler coming out and helping Jackie T. Jack Trent, of course, for the PlayStation 4, being like, yeah, you
2013.
can, guess what? You can share games. Guess what? No big deal on the. It was like fucking
here's the
replacement.
prize, here's
Nuts.
what it looks
Yeah,
like.
it just KO'd Xbox on the stage at E3.
Ooh, Keanu for Cyberpunk was really fun.
Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah. Yeah, Wolverine was a great moment, though. I'm looking back through the showcase rundown here of trailers from the 2021 one.
Yeah, Wolverine. I mean, the Spider-Man 2 trailer was great too. It coming right after that Wolverine trailer was like, oh shit, back-to-back Insomniac games. The God of War Ragnarok trailer there at one of those PlayStation showcases was pretty fun.
Moving on. Kurtz Mitchell says, as a PC player, do you think there will be more talk of PS on PC?
Not like, I don't think it's something that they would spend too
The
much
showcase
time on.
today? Yeah, I don't think you're going to get...
Yeah.
I think, again, they're talking about PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR. I think more PC stuff is obviously going to happen. Yes, you're going to get more PlayStation on PC. I just don't think it's a huge part of today. If
Yeah.
any.
I think the way you would get it in there would be if there is, like, if it's attached to something. Like, if it is if they do a big breakdown of Last of Us Factions and then they go, by the way, Last of Us Part 2 is finally coming to PC. Like, it would have to be attached to something that is related.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think they would do what they usually do, which is just like, I'll save it for state of play or put it out on the blog.
Yeah. El Captain 22 says, I'm late, but I also have tuna for breakfast.
See, I got made fun of by everybody when I brought that tuna in. And so I think me and you are the
For the record,
weirdos.
I wasn't here, so I didn't. I didn't made fun of you.
Would you make fun of somebody for eating tuna?
What does make fun of mean? I probably would have been like a tuna sandwich for breakfast, but I wouldn't have been like, you horse's ass. What are you doing? There's got to be rules.
I asked the question.
I was somewhere in between those two versions, Greg.
Understandable.
Yeah. I think Roger and Kevin were the main
It's one of
culprits.
those things, if we're being honest, like meals are all fucked up.
That's what
You're
I'm
starting
saying.
your day, you should have like the steak and you should be filling yourself up with like great protein, like steak and mashed potatoes. Dinner should be breakfast, and breakfast should be
And that's where I'm at.
And breakfast can be eaten anytime. It's
My
delicious.
favorite thing is eating breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
And I do that often enough to where I do think about it like, man, maybe I should just have dinner for breakfast at this rate.
Yeah.
Because like there will be days where I get home and I'm like, what if I made some potatoes and eggs? Or like I like plantain a lot, so like I'll fry plantain.
Sure, yeah. Well,
and some sausage or something.
Plantain's delicious.
Yeah.
Marco A says, Greg, as a dad, it's all downhill here. Greg, as a dad, it's all downhill from here in terms of being attractive to the opposite sex. What does your midlife crisis look like? Miata? Oh, a Miata convertible? Nightclub with Nick?
Attracted by.
Night at the Roxbury? Huh?
Attracted by the opposite sex. Is that what he's talking about?
No, being attractive to.
Oh, attracted
I'm going to look
to.
worse and worse, he says.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which
I
is-
heard attracted to, and I was like, wait, having a child changed.
Changes your sexuality.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man.
The more and more, I'm just like, bless
didn't
you
know
are
it-
looking good today.
I didn't know that's how that works. Oh snap.
Marco, what you're saying is, of course, categorically false. Everyone knows I'm only getting better with age. I look better than I ever did in the IGN videos. I look better than I did at the start of KindaFunny. Come on now. I need a haircut right now.
I agree.
Admittedly. But even with that, I look good. Give me the one again, Barrett.
Honestly, I would just say the side. Like, I like the length at the top.
Yeah. I had to shellac down the sideburns though, because they're
Yeah.
kicking up real bad. But it's been a hectic week. I haven't been able to get a haircut.
Yeah, daddies are in vogue, and so I don't think having a kid affects your
Not at all.
attractiveness.
Yeah.
At least on a negative way. I think maybe in a positive way, possibly.
Sky Forsland says, post show. Will we ever get a Little Big Planet 4? We've had 2 spin-off Sackboy games, but it's been almost a decade since Little Big Planet 3, and I'm craving more.
Is it weird that we got Sackboy: A Big Adventure?
Yeah.
Because I would think that if you're putting that out, then you're as PlayStation, you're still considering Little Big Planet as one of your
Still trying to make
active
Sackboy,
IP.
yeah, still trying to make Sackboy a thing.
Yeah, so I'll think, I think there's a possibility of Little Big Planet 4.
I agree. I think you'll get a Little Bit of Planet 4 sometimes. Will it be called Little Big Planet 4? Will it be something different? Who knows? Will it be Media Molecule? Will that be what they, now that Dreams is done, they pivot over to?
What if it's just called Little Big Planet? They dropped the 4. It's Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
It's a live service game from Media Molecule.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, again, if you're going to do the play, create, share thing, like, that could be done so well in terms of giving you a reason to come in because you're getting the new level or whatever they're dropping or whatever. But it's like, again, I think honing in the focus of the creativity, the play, create, share creativity would do wonders for Media Molecule and Little Big Planet. I think going back and, hey, it's Little Big Planet and it is just building platforming levels. We're going to do that and have fun. It's going to be, Mario Maker, which of course is so much pulled from Little Big Planet. And, obviously Little Big Planet's platforming is pulled from Mario. I'm not saying anybody's copying anybody, but like, that is something easier to wrap your head around than, hey, it's Dreams. It can be make a fucking plate of beans or make the best first-person
I'm
RPG.
putting money
of all
down.
time.
I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to get Little Big Planet 4 for Media Molecule. I've convinced myself. It makes a lot of sense.
Your mouth to God's ears.
Especially coming off of how big creation tools are in terms of like games like Minecraft, games like Roblox, and of course that's what Dreams was trying to get at with its own thing, right? And I think to your point, it was just amorphous in terms of something tangible to connect yourself to make this actually work as an IP. Even coming off of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and how much that game is about creativity. I think that conversation is going to be had more and more in the industry on the dev side.
Yeah.
In terms of how do you capitalize this? Like Zelda did something magic here. Look at all the videos people are sharing. Look how much this thing is selling. Look how much this is working for the Zelda universe. What are ways in which we can bring our own flair to the creative stuff that people are doing at Tears of the Kingdom? Little Big Planet already has that. And Little Big Planet is a tangible IP in the way that Dreams never was.
Sure.
And Little Big Planet is an IP for PlayStation that you obviously care about to some extent. You obviously want to keep active. Media Molecule needs something next to do. Make that, bring that back together, right? Bring those two back together. Drop the 3, drop the 4. Make it just Little Big Planet and make it what you're talking about for the the race stuff, or like you're racing other people on your friends list.
You're getting
like,
like
checking
daily
stats.
updates or whatever.
Yeah,
When
and
somebody
then
beats your score, does your thing.
You also look at Sackboy and how we make fun of the fact that every other week it seems like Sackboy is getting new costumes.
Yeah.
That can't be for nothing.
Somebody's buying them. Janet Garcia's dad is buying them, apparently.
Either somebody's buying them or they're looking at it as preparation for something, right? Maybe that is them gearing up for the next Little Big Planet thing and going, let's keep this active. Let's keep people thinking about Little Big Planet. Let's maybe work on skins that could appear in the next Little Big Planet game. I'm convinced it's happening.
Waleed.
Little Big Universe.
That's good.
That was somebody in chat. The serpent in chat. Thank you.
Waleed gave another super chat and said, Greg, you need to play Red Matter 2 on PlayStation VR 2. I want to say I tinkered with this on Quest, but I definitely didn't play it. If you're unfamiliar, Red Matter 2 is an award-winning immersive puzzle adventure game that takes you on a heart-pumping journey to the far reaches of space in a dystopian Cold War setting. Step into the shoes of Sasha, an agent awakened in a lunar base by an undercover operative and tasked with uncovering the secrets of the mysterious Red Matter. And I watched some trailer stuff for it, and that sure does look like a VR game. You know? Rather play Zelda. Rather play what I'm playing for a redacted review.
Foglands looks cool. I want to see more about Foglands.
Maybe you'll get it today.
Does that have does that have a date? That's my question.
You Google and I'll tell you that Twisted Metal
It does
Clips gave us a super chat and said, ready for Twisted Metal.
we
Twisted Metal Clips, I would expect you to be ready for Twisted Metal today.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you'll get it. And I hope Anthony Mackie comes out and he's like,
That's my question. Actually, that's technically not my question because somebody wrote in with this. Somebody wrote in to ask, do you think we see any celebrities on stage, on quote unquote stage?
yeah, what is it even to look like? Yeah, you know what I mean?
Do any celebrities appear? I think
I think you could get a video package from Anthony Mackie on the set of Twisted Metal. Excited to talk to you about what's going on with Peacock. And also, though, here's something from fucking Deviation Studio.
I say we see Bella Ramsey.
Oh, that makes sense.
I think
But
it'd
what
be
is she
fun
going
for
to
her
do?
come out. That's the question.
Hey, here's factions. I'm not in it.
No, she's not. She's not going to do that. Maybe it's them talking about something PlayStation.
Yo,
TV.
this writer strike sure did fuck up Last of Us Season 2, didn't it? We'll see if you ever get that. Maybe everybody.
That's what I would want in the conversations we have about PlayStation not having a face and having the missing out on the personality side. Lil Wayne just got done hosting a Street Fighter presentation. You can get Bella Ramsey or
pay for Bella Ramsey.
Pedro
baby.
Pascal.
Yeah.
You got to pay for Lil Wayne also.
Just saying.
Man ain't cheap. He made a milli, not just in money. The song he made a milli. And that is a very popular song. I probably made more than $1 million.
I believe you. Barrett, I see you working very hard over there, but I have a question from Lorenzo Flores, who writes on the Super Chat and says, Barrett, what are your favorite pop punk bands currently? As a fellow sad boy, I'm always looking for more music.
That's been rough because I've been in such a weird funk where none of my music is really hitting.
Sure.
Spanish love songs, I think it's like probably one of the best, more like emo side of pop punk bands right now in the scene. They just came out with a single that is like way more like almost like 80s, like the Cure kind of emo, which is really cool. And that album's coming out in a few months. I'm really excited for that. Outside of that, I don't know. I've just been like trying to find something to find the spark. Nothing's really been hitting me lately.
Just playing that Zelda music.
Do you listen to Willow? I don't think Willow. I don't know if Willow counts as pop punk, but I fucking love her. Like her music is it's in that genre of music that I don't listen to, which is like pop punky emo-ish type music that I think you would be more into, Barrett. But I've been hooked.
I
on her
imagine
last
it's
few
probably
albums.
more poppy than punky, at least in like the stuff that I typically listen to. So no,
Yeah.
I have not. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Shout out. Oh shit, what's it called? Pool Kids. Pool Kids has been kind of coming up lately. They're fantastic. I think I sent Greg a Pool Kids song like last year, and he was digging it. So yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Willow. This song is great.
All right, we're listening to Will on the way home, everybody.
Yeah,
She's a verified artist on Spotify. No big deal.
that's Will Smith's daughter. I would hope she is.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah.
The Meet Me at a
Yeah,
Spot.
Meet Me at a
I
Spot,
love
yeah.
this song. Okay, good. Okay. Miles Ellis writes in and says, "Hey guys, I just want to say your positivity is infectious. Happy Showcase Day. Happy Showcase Day,
Thank you.
Miles.
I'll
Thank you
think of
for
more
getting it.
negative things to say.
DJ Kento writes in with a super chat and says, "Do you ever lose sleep the night before a big showcase like today? I woke up at 2 a.m. and I've been taking edibles to get hype for it.
Oh my god.
I mean, ever since is what he probably meant, but the edibles kicked in mid-sentence. You have trouble sleeping before one of these?
No, but the thing is, on days like this, and days on like where big reviews are popping, where there's very big news, sometimes I'll wake up and then I'll get excited and it's hard to fall back asleep.
Sure.
Like if I wake up before my
There's
alarm.
nothing worse than like there's a big review popping at 6 or 5 or whatever, and you wake up at like 4:30 or 5:30.
Yep.
It's like, fuck. Well, now I'm just gonna stay awake to see what the comments are and how it does and whatever people score it. And yada, yada,
Exactly.
yada.
I think that's what helped me wake up this morning is when I had my first alarm at 6:30 so I can wake up and work out. When I woke up, it was way easier to get up this morning than any
Big
other
day.
morning. And
Big
I think
exciting
it's
day.
just the
We don't get a lot of these.
showcase.
No, I didn't have trouble going to sleep last night. In the old days, I think maybe at like an E3, there'd be that excitement of the next day of what it was going to be and all crazy stuff. But I don't think I ever really had trouble sleeping about it.
Yeah.
Sky Forsland writes in and says, "Hi, I'm looking for chill story games to fill the void left by Life is Strange and Firewatch. Any recommendations?"
Before your eyes.
Sure. You want to cry? Go for it. I mean, Gone Home, I'd always toss out there. You know what I mean? You didn't mention that. Put that there. Basically anything I've ever tried. Play Florence. It's only 45 minutes, but goddamn, I love Florence.
Florence is really good.
Florence is so good.
One that is more gameplay heavy, but I think if you like those other games, you'll like it is Celeste. Celeste is a really, really good story.
Yeah. Undertale. You guys are always talking about Undertale.
Oh yeah, Undertale has such a good story. Everybody's gone to the Rapture. No. What Remains of Edith Finch is actually
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, I get them mixed up for whatever reason.
Sure.
But What Remains of Edith Finch, one of the best walking simulators you'll ever play.
Oxenfree.
Yeah.
Rooster596 gives YouTube super chat and says, "Cockadoodle doo. Keep up the great work. We will. Thank you all for tuning in to hang out with us. Remember, we are working all day long. When we're done here, it'll be Mike and Tim and Nick out here making PlayStation predictions leading up to that 1 o'clock showcase, which is in 1.5 hours. Then, of course, we will live react to the showcase here on YouTube and Twitch. And then, of course, afterwards, PS I Love You XOXO live for everybody before it goes up as a big video on podcast. It's a mystery. Super chats. Greg, my idiot friend thinks Blue is a better album than Pinkerton. Can you tell them how wrong they are? Here's the thing. It is a mystery. I agree with you. I love Pinkerton more than Blue. These are Weezer albums, of course.
Yeah.
But Weezer's Blue album is also goated. You know what I mean? What a perfect rock album. You know what I mean? Like, or, you know, an alternative rock. But, like, you know what I mean? What a beautiful album start to finish. Can you go wrong picking either of these albums, I would ask? And I think the answer is no. I just think you and me, It's a Mystery, are more in tune with our feelings. We have a darker tinge. That's why we're drawn to Pinkerton.
Yeah.
All the heartbreak,
Everybody knows that Greg Miller is a
sadness.
very dark person.
I'm a very emo boy. If we didn't have 100 more hours of show, I'd pull my hair in front of my face.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do it right
Do
now.
like the black makeup on the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, going back to the pop punk, I have been listening to Set Your Goals again for the first time in a long time. That was a band I sent Greg, and he was digging it.
I
Cal,
did.
let me know your favorite Jay-Z albums. Let's talk about some real music.
Calvin Perez says,
Hova.
big news glossed over. Big news glossed over. Daft Punk released their 10th anniversary of Random Access Memories last week.
No comment.
Thought you should know.
Jesus.
Calvin, I heard that these
10
morons,
years?
I heard these morons broke up and I wouldn't have to listen to the bleeps and bloops anymore from them. So no, we're not going to recognize this as a holiday goodbye.
Funny enough, it has been 10 years because Random Access Memories, I recall because that was when I was working at Pizza Hut doing delivery driving, and we would have music playing in the restaurant. And I swear to God, was it Get Lucky? Was that the one on that album? I think it was. That would play all the time, like maybe every hour in that restaurant.
Craziest pizza delivery story you got? Hit me with it.
Craziest delivery. There was this one dude who would order pretty consistently, and he was blind. And so like I would have to like walk into his house, which usually I would never do, right? But like I would have to help him like, you know, set the pizza down and then have him sign the receipt.
Yeah.
On like maybe the 4th or 5th time, I would notice that he wouldn't tip, right? And I'd be like, oh, maybe it's because he doesn't realize that there's like another line to tip. And so like I finally found the balls the 5th time around to be like, hey, do you want to add a tip? You can add a tip if you want to. And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, cool.
From
That's
there
cool.
on out, I would have been ding dong, drop it on the fucking porch and walk away. You know
Have
what I mean?
pizza.
Enjoy it. DJ Kenda's back. Want to give props to whoever made the John Wick nightclub style background. I'm really digging the wavy vibes.
Oh, this is
I assume this is a Roger joint, right?
This is an Andy Cortez joint.
Wow.
Ooh, the bubbles. Look at
I
the
usually call
bubbles.
Andy a talentless hack, and I still will.
What we need is for this to be interactive so I can pop the bubbles.
Okay.
We
I
get
like
that
that.
in technology.
I'll get Andy
going.
on it right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alex Blanco writes in and says, Greg, how long before you host the PlayStation Showcase? Never. They don't want me up there. You know what I mean? They
Never
moved
say
away
never.
from it.
I could see it. Like 5 to 10 years from now when PlayStation's back, having the personality,
Sure.
having the, you know.
They want me representing
head.
it?
Yeah, have Greg Miller be
I
the
don't
guy.
think so. I'm like begrudgingly PlayStation accepts that I have some kind of audience about this stuff.
I'll do it, PlayStation.
Our Shack writes in on YouTube as a super chat.
Somebody in chat, I think Fool's Gold is that their name. They say Jay-Z is filth. Get out of here! Don't you dare!
Every so often, I see the TikTok where he pisses off Beyonce on stage, like he didn't introduce her or something. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say when Solange attacks him in the elevator. Did you see that?
No.
Solange, Beyonce's sister. Oh, it was a viral moment where they're all taking the elevator together and like the security.
Oh, maybe at the time I
This
saw
was
this.
like a while back.
It was a while ago.
Yeah.
The security footage of the elevator leaked to the internet, and like I don't know where Solange, and probably not out of nowhere. I'm sure somebody said something, but Solange straight up just like lunges and like starts attacking Jay-Z, and that it broke the internet for a day because everybody's like, "What the fuck is happening? Who attacks Jay-Z?"
Yeah.
Like in 20.
I saw the other clip of him on the subway, and he sits down next to that lady, and she's like, "Are you famous?" And he's like, "Must not be that famous. You don't know."
That, do you believe that was like an actual interaction?
Yeah.
Because I think that might have been like a press like, let's organize this thing to make Jay-Z look great.
I don't think
You
that
think it was
lady
real?
had any idea who he was.
Happiness.
Our Shack writes in and says, "Gentlemen, I'm curious. What are you anticipating from the Ubisoft Forward event?"
Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we
Good
get
pick. Good pick.
Star Wars based on like the rumors recently.
I want a Division
Avatar.
Heartland date.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? We had the big Division thing where they're like, "Here's a whole bunch of stuff happening." I'm excited. Anything Division, I guess, really. But I'd like a date for Division Heartland. Will I get it? No. Will I see more of it? Probably.
I want them to acknowledge Beyond Good and Evil 2.
You already picked your thing. Brendan Riley writes in as a super chat and said, "Did Blessing just say daddies are in vogue and we're gonna gloss over that?"
Am I wrong?
No.
No.
Slimy Uno wants to use his moment in the sun to say, "Greg, Whataburger is a Texas treasure. How dare you slander a great?" Listen here, Slimy Uno. You're slimy for a fucking reason. And it's because you got terrible goddamn taste in burgers. Everybody acts like I'm out of pocket with the Whataburger thing. I gave them their chances. I gave them multiple chances. And it was trash every time. It's mine. I hide it down there so I can fill it. Okay. Don't throw. Oh, okay. Okay. It's time to wrap it up and switch it out, ladies and gentlemen. But a lot of people continue to tip here. Or you do the thing. We're going to go super fast, all right? Hard to find super chats. Greg, are you suiting up for the Xbox show too? Probably for E3. Yeah, it'll be a big deal. Fraud Monet says, "What are the origins of the McElroy moment in Oration?" Justin McElroy, or McElroy actually. I knew casually through the internet. I never actually talked to him, but when I started doing Oration, he would pop up as the first comment every time and make very lewd references to how I was eating Oreos, and so then I just incorporated it into the show there going forward.
He I don't know if he still does this podcast, but he had a podcast called Sawbones that he would
with his
record
wife,
with his,
right? Yeah,
with his partner, and like they would talk about different ideas in like the medical world every episode. I was really fascinated with it. I listened to that during my previous job and really enjoyed it. Shout out to Justin McElroy.
It's fast. It's supposed to go fast.
I can talk faster.
The Gaming Late Night Show says, "Is KindaFunny ever hiring? Do you guys ever entertain new show concept from fans?" We're always hiring. Look at these two people. We hired from the community. Look at that guy. We hired from the community. We always have our eyes peeled for people that we know through the community. Kevin, get out of here. You weren't hired from the community. Well, I guess technically you were just Tim's friend.
Well, no, but I mean, I was a fan. I used to watch this show.
Oh, then even Kevin was. Cool, Greg. He didn't watch any of our shit, right?
He had no interest in it.
okay.
I tried to show him. He was like, oh.
So we're always doing that. Show concepts, I mean, I would never say, I would say no to, because then it looks weird if you send something and 10 years later I do something like, that was my idea. I'm like, your idea was a podcast.
It turns
So
into
don't
the
do that.
Social Network movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't need that shit. I don't need some twins coming at me and one of them eats people. Remember that? I'm taking the character from this movie and the actor and merging them together. Bot AJ13 says, "Hot Mulligan is a good pop bug." Navish Crayfish says, "Look forward to seeing whatever Asobi is working on, secretly hoping it's Ape Escape remake. Moving forward to watching the showcase with y'all." Ben D says, "My prediction for the showcase, I told you specifically not to do that. You'll have to hope that they go back to it." Craig Hall says, "Sleep Outside are awesome, Barrett. Go get on them." Hard to Find says, "Also, Bless, are you a fan of New Rory and Mal?"
Oh, I love New Rory and Mal. I'm so excited for Friday's episode because turns out Rory's been hiding a child.
Dak Yak has one that's both for us and not for us. Embracer talked to Nintendo ? I'm going to say no. And then they had a question for you, so remember that one later on.
Lay it on me.
Scorpion Brew says, "Greg, what is your favorite PlayStation item you own?" My PlayStation 5, that of course has been drawn on by Jim Lee. CJ writes in and says, "Will Blessing acknowledge Baldur's Gate 3 today?"
What is that?
And then our final one before me and Bless leaving. Sat Wood says, "Barrett, check out Microwave Much Love is best album." Check out Microwave Much Love is best album. That's it. We're taking our break.
What do you think of my tat?
And
And get the
Live all
Twitch
day.
Primes rolling, Shaq.
10
Come
out
on,
of 10. I love
baby.
it.
Oh, man. Blessing
you
says
add
he
it?
loves my tat, Andy.
Did you actually get a tattoo?
No,
He loves my tat.
he didn't get a tattoo.
Whoa.
Wait.
We didn't latch down the desk.
Doesn't matter. Latch down the desk.
Batten down the hatches.
Mike, do you want to show the kids your tattoo?
Yeah, I'll show
I
him.
can do the top down.
Is that gonna be allowed on the stream?
He showed me his tattoo while he was curling his eyelashes.
Why do you give him shit? He likes curling his eyelashes.
Because he has so many other things he needs to worry about in life.
What's going on there, Mike?
My look?
No, I'm talking about the tattoo itself. The podcaster's mullet, everybody. Fancy top, absolutely just garbage bottom, you know?
I don't think he's ever had them before. All of them are on latch, except for the one.
Oh, I'm excited, baby.
Nick, actually, do you want to sit in the middle?
Wherever you want me.
Those are
I
nice,
feel like that
Tim.
makes sense, right?
Well, I was gonna have them kind of crowded over there and then have me like a kind of feudy,
Okay.
but I don't really care.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the wall asset isn't set up like that. It's
Sure.
set up in the middle.
Yeah, put me in the middle. Yeah, put me in the middle. Whatever's easy. Whatever's easy.
Never mind.
None of this. Why don't you switch over here?
Damn, you have to sit next to me.
God damn it. I loved so much. There was a funny ass comment in the KindaFunny podcast comment section that said, when Mike asked Andy to hang out with him and Andy said he just needed some time alone, I get that. I just need some time away from you, Mike.
You've had a full week. I'm sick of it.
It's not enough.
It's annoying, dude.
Thank you, Nick.
Stop trying to
We're
not be
sick
around
of
us,
it.
Andy.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
We see you coming in here all low energy, like trying to just keep to yourself. And Mike and I, as your older brothers, do not like it.
We don't like that.
He's got games. Watch out for those eyelashes, Andy. They're about to stab you. You turn around. too fast.
What I love most, Mike, is that you're doing the fake tattoo thing, but you're putting it on your upper thigh, and it's always on the upper thigh, which is where most professional tattoo artists say that's where you should start your tattoo journey.
Oh, really? That's what they say?
Absolutely not. Usually people put them on the arms, the forearms. We don't know. We're not quite sure.
I
where
like
that's
the placement.
Thank you.
I'm a
Thank
little
you.
iffy on the subject matter, but
Oh, I think it's great.
yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's great.
Thank you.
You
The
go with
subject
anime
matter.
one. You go with the anime one.
Oh man! All right, let me pull up control.
What a day, everybody.
This is going to be a really fun day, everyone. Of
It was
course.
tough to sleep. I'll tell you what.
Oh, I'm with you, man.
It
in
was
a good
just-
way.
I mean, yeah, definitely in a good way. It's that same sort of like, it's less anxiety than I have a flight tomorrow, but more anxiety than like, I have, to go to work tomorrow on a normal day. Like this is like so much more exciting and cool to have to wake up for. It just gives me those E3 vibes, Tim.
Times 1,000.
Yeah.
This is like the big one of E3, right? Like, I feel like E3 back in the day, it'd be like, cool, there's the PlayStation conference, there's the Nintendo conference, and depending on the year, oh shit, the Xbox conference. But this right now, what we're about to get to, I think it's unprecedented times
This
here,
table.
Andy, this table. Not having a showcase for this long, being this deep into the PS5's life cycle at this point, we're going to get some questions answered. But we're going to need some predictions from everybody. Isn't that right, Nick?
That is the big question on everyone's lips right now, folks. What are we going to be showing? What are we going to be seeing at the PlayStation Showcase in about an hour? And of course, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in here on twitch.tv/KindaFunny over on YouTube as well. We love you guys very much. We want to have a little fun right now. We want to hear from you. What do you guys think we're going to be seeing from PlayStation in just under an hour? What do you think? What are your predictions? And here's how we're going to do it, everyone. Of course, we are here. I've got my expert panel. We've got Snowbike Mike.
People say I'm in the know.
The
Nitro
biggest
Rifle.
PlayStation fans out there.
And we've got the biggest PlayStation
In the
fan
know.
anyone's ever seen.
Ever in
Also,
the
maybe
building,
the biggest
for sure.
Nintendo fan anyone's ever seen, Mr. Tim Geddes. These guys are going to be answering your predictions for you. We're going to give a yes or a no based on what you guys want to know. And here's how it's going to work. Every sub, every gifted sub, you guys can leave a comment there. I will be reading them. Ask us your predictions over. If you're on the YouTube, you guys got a $5 super chat or above. You guys can ask us those predictions over there, and we will answer each and every single one of them in the order that they have come. I am the final word, by the way.
But I want PlayStation predictions, okay? We're doing a PlayStation showcase in an hour and 20 minutes. So keep these questions and predictions to PlayStation things, okay?
I
I
mean,
mean, they can predict what I'm going to do this weekend, Tim.
listen. This is my kind of show. This is my show here, Tim.
Uh-huh.
You guys will do your 15 minutes of predictions beforehand. You'll do your breakdown afterward.
Yeah.
You want to predict what movies are going to do best in the summer box office this year? We're your guys.
Still won't have
We're
an
your
answer
guys.
for it.
Yeah, well, if you super chat in, resub, sub, all that stuff at the $5 levels, we will answer your predictions.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen,
Beautiful.
If you're just joining us, if you're new to our channel and you're just joining us, you don't usually watch us live, thank you so much for joining us. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free Twitch Prime subscription. You have to do it every single month. We'd like it to go to us, but if not, make sure you guys are giving those to a creator of your choice that's doing some awesome work out there. And if you subscribe with your Prime right now, you can ask us any questions you want involving predictions, I guess, for PlayStation. Or for what Mike's weekend's going to be in Tahoe. Mike,
Keep it
my
on
prediction for you.
PlayStation.
Tell me.
Are you going to get out on the water today?
Yep.
Are you going to get on the water this weekend in the boat?
Yep.
Is that what's going to happen?
Let's go to the thermometer. Let's see.
We got a bunch of super
The
chats.
thermometer says no.
Oh, there it is. We have a bunch of super chats coming in right now. Actually, let's see who we got here. Prediction from Ben D gave us a $5 super chat. Said Little Devils Inside Shadow drops today and available day 1 on PlayStation
remember
Plus
that game.
Premium. Tim, let's
Yes.
start with you. What do you say? Yes.
Say that again.
Little Devil Inside.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's a
what
cool
see
looking
today.
game. I remember this one. Yep.
Releases on PlayStation Plus Premium.
Yeah, I think that when the game does come out, I think it'll be there. I don't know that we'll see it today, though. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no as well.
Mike, what say you?
I'm going to say no on the PlayStation Premium.
Especially
Let's
because
talk a little long about that. Why do you say no, Andy?
Well, I just know that the last time we saw it was like, I don't know, like a year ago, maybe a little bit more. No, we were definitely in the studio, so it wasn't a full year ago. We were in the studio the last time
Were
we
we?
saw it. Tim,
Last time I remember
who
seeing it.
fucking knows, bro?
Yeah, no, last time I remember seeing it, it was work from home. It was the state of play that
It's
they
when
did.
we were really like,
and we are kind of like, ooh, this
unsatisfied
game
with
doesn't
it.
look that great. Yeah.
I thought that they had kind of pulled back and maybe we need to reanalyze what this game actually is, and maybe we need to refocus some things just based on what audience feedback was from that state of play. I don't think we see it. I think it's going to be one of those games that kind of disappears for a while, and we won't see it again for another year and a half or something.
I'm not that much of a no on it. I think that there is a chance we see it, but if I'm going binary here, I'm saying no.
Okay. Well, Kevin, the answer is yes.
No,
We're going to be doing this.
What?
I think I want to see it. I don't know what Little Devil is.
See it
I don't know
today.
what Little Devil is. I want to see it.
How is this
I wanna see
voting
it.
working?
Also, Kevin, I'm throwing this out there, and if you can't do it, it's not a big deal. But these do have sound effects to them,
Oh,
just in case you didn't know.
oh,
Great. Great.
God.
Just so you know. Just so you know. Next up, over on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames, Jack gave us a Prime sub for 30 months and said Sly Cooper 5 is actually a crossover with Jack and Daxter tie-in TV show to air alongside the new game. What say you on that?
Oh, I like how ambitious that is. That is
ambitious.
definitely a no. But I do think that I was thinking about it this morning. I am shocked that we got a Ratchet and Clank on the PS5. Rift Apart. What an amazing video game. But the fact that we got
Some say
a
it's
new
Game of the Year.
Ratchet, we did, Andy. The fact that that game actually came out was as good as it was in the year that it came out. I don't even remember what it was. 2021, I guess.
2020.
Was it 2020?
It was the
No, it
beginning-
wasn't.
Oh, it was 2021. You're right.
Yeah.
It was
20
April 2021.
Yeah, something like that. So that surprised me. So I do think
Expert.
that Sony are willing to go back into the nostalgia pot of the 3D platform and mascot characters. And I do think that another swing at a collab between like Jack and Daxter with Ratchet and Clank with Sly Cooper, that type of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we get that. We did before, I forget, All for One, I think it was called. That was some bullshit. That was like
My Hero Academia.
not a great game. But I think that they could do it. I just don't expect to see it here.
Mike, Sly Cooper 5.
Hell yeah, Nick.
Woo!
It's time to bring him back.
Okay.
I think what Rift Apart did and showed the audience and how exciting that was. Heck yeah. TV show, crossover collab. I mean, I would love it. I loved the Ratchet and Clank movie, so I'm all about getting some more animated properties, especially coming from PlayStation. If you did that, I would be right on board. But no, I don't think we will get any sort of TV show, but I think it is time to bring back Sly Cooper in a big way.
Chun2D2 in the chat says, Ratchet's never skipped a generation, so it wasn't that shocking to me. That's only kind of true. The PS4 only had the remake of the first one. It didn't have a new entry. So that's why I was pretty surprised
Along
to get
with the movie.
along with the movie. And like those I mean, it didn't not perform the way that they expected it to. The game did okay, but the movie did not.
Remember that the cutscenes of the game were just cutscenes from the movie? I remember my videos got demonetized because they're like, sorry, this is in the Ratchet and Clank movie. Like, fuck off, dude. I'm going to say no on Sly Cooper.
Okay.
I think Sly Cooper has taken a long retirement, taken a long look at his health and his family situation.
It's just not coming back to
Focus
the
on
game.
yourself, yeah.
I get
Damn.
it. Survey says no.
Oh,
It's not
wow.
gonna
You
happen.
kept us guessing
Not
there.
gonna be happening
You
today,
kept us
ladies and
guessing.
gentlemen. Moving it right
Did
along.
you make one that wavers?
They all waver.
Oh, wow. I didn't-
Yeah,
Oh, I thought it was
it's for the suspense, Andy.
Oh,
okay, it's
okay.
for the suspense. People want to
Gotcha.
know the predictions, and we are the predictions.
You
team.
are the arbiter
We
of
are.
the truth here.
Absolutely. Over on Twitch, Infinite Nerd said, I predict that we will see a Wolverine extended trailer and release year of 2024 this year. I'm going to go ahead and say yes on that one.
Oh,
That's a no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shit.
The
Yeah.
mechanism has said no for that.
Sorry. I need to like.
It
dial
thinks
them
on
in
its own, Kevin.
so that I can turn the audio on. But they're so short, it's really hard to get. So give me
Okay.
one
I mean,
second.
if you can't do the audio, it's no big deal. It's
no,
just,
I got it. I
Okay,
can do
fantastic.
anything.
What say you guys? A Wolverine extended trailer this year?
You know, it's doubtful,
Yeah.
but I don't want to say no.
Yeah.
I don't want to say yes, but I do think that this is like that bar's in the right place right now, right in between. Because I never would have thought that we would have got Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine announced in the same showcase.
Yeah.
I can see Insomniac wanting to keep that energy up. With the deep dive on Spider-Man that I'm expecting, I don't expect to see an extended thing into Wolverine.
So you're
So
saying
that's
maybe?
why extended trip.
Oh, wow.
Wait, can I see that again?
Wait, sorry. 2 seconds. Let me.
Yeah.
finish this.
Tim didn't know there was a maybe. He didn't know.
No,
maybe
no.
in there.
Sneaks through. That's
No.
awesome, Nick.
Did not know.
Maybe.
There it is.
Maybe.
Wow.
Tim says maybe.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going maybe on this. I feel
That's really good.
I feel like it's just timing is weird. A 2024 date, I don't think that they'd want to like commit to that too soon. So there's a lot of like the details of this prediction that I would say no to, but as an overall vibe, I am going maybe.
Let's go maybe. I love that.
My
All right.
my prediction was that, we were getting we get sort of a slow camera. Like, can you close your eyes, Nick? We're getting a slow camera into a bar, right? Just kind of moving in. I don't think the Fast and Furious song is playing. No, I didn't ask for the Fast and Furious song to be playing.
and then Dom shows up.
Yeah, no. And then we see a guy sit down at the bar, and he busts out his wallet,
Yeah.
but then the ID falls out of the wallet. Boom, hits the ground. It says Logan on it. And you're like, holy shit. Wrong. It's Gabe Logan, Siphon Filter. He's going back in time to stop the insurrection.
Holy
That's what
shit.
he's doing.
I'll ask you this question.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
Roncus
insurrection.
World over on
Yeah.
Twitch says call me crazy, but I think Bluepoint is making a new Siphon Filter game. What do we think about that?
Fucking better not. I don't, like, I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Like,
Tell 'em.
I don't want to be Gabe Logan. I don't want to be a part of Gabe Logan's life.
Okay.
Whatever Gabe Logan has in his future plans, I don't want to be
Got it.
there.
I'll call it out.
He's testing out the sounds.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
testing out
sorry.
the sounds.
Well, also I saw that there was a no, but I guess that was for the last one. I don't
We
know.
wanted to go with Andy right there.
We'll go with Andy on that one. I agree. I don't think they're going to make that. Jim Morrison asked in the chat, says over $5 super chat over on YouTube, says my prediction of the show, when they do Metal Gear Solid, will have a live performance of the Snake Eater theme like they did for God of War. What say you on these?
It's going to be a hard no, and I'm so sad about that because that would be freaking awesome. But unfortunately, this is a digital showcase. It will not be live at the Shrine Theater in front of 7,000 screaming
I mean,
fans.
Yeah.
Tim, if we go break in, it'll be live for us.
Yeah,
We could do it.
exactly.
We could
Break
do
into
it.
the mainframe.
Like, if Mike can get in anywhere.
yeah.
Mike,
You two can get in.
Mike has the gift of gab. He can make it seem as if like we're part of the crew. We get in the backstage. We're hanging with Jim Ryan. We're asking him like, where the fuck is Bloodborne on PC? You know?
Yeah.
Mike,
I
what do you think?
mean-
any live performances of this?
No, no live
This
performances.
pre-canned.
But it would be lit just to
showcase?
hear Snake Eater really bring that pop. If this is gonna be shown here and it is for real, right?
Oh, it will be, baby.
We're hearing a lot of rumors and there's a
We're
lot of
getting it.
smoke to this fire. But if it is true, yes, Snake Eater will definitely be played prominently. It will be the dance out there, and it's gonna be really freaking exciting.
Survey says.
That's mine.
No, it's not going to be happening. I don't think they're spending money like that, guys. I don't think they're
Wow.
spending money like that.
Now, is that a
I don't
no
think
for
they're
the
forgetting
live
it.
money like-
performance or no for Metal Gear Solid?
No
3
to a
in
live
general?
performance.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
there's going to be some Metal Gear news, but I don't think they're going to get out there and they're duffy on that one. Albert Jimenez says, will we see Venomized villains in Spider-Man 2?
You know what? I think that is a pretty safe bet.
Like a lot of symbiotic baddies.
Yeah, there's been a big trend in the comics and like comic adjacent things recently, and Marvel Snap is real big on these venomized variants, essentially, of characters we know, heroes and villains. I think that'd be a smart differentiator for Spider-Man 2 to kind of like change things up a little bit for maybe some villains we've seen before, but like getting a new coat of paint or something in the new one. But
what about like the because when I hear venomized villains, all I picture are the black goop dudes from Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
The first Suicide Squad
And then
movie.
Suicide Squad, the game with the purple jabronis.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
no, it's more like Imagine Thor, but
Venom.
symbiote version.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
gotcha,
So it's
gotcha.
like it's still the vibe of Thor, but like
That'd be a cool
Can we
vibe.
get the AC on in here?
Yeah, can we get the AC on? But that would be a really cool vibe.
We're in 4
I got
layers.
I mean, I'm not too hot. I'm backing you up. You know,
Mike,
just in case
the
you-
turtleneck color.
You know what I mean?
Woo!
Thanks,
my
Helmet.
back.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
That's real good.
But yeah, I like the idea of a story with the venomized villains, right? If you saw different villains, the big names, come out and they are that would be really dope. But we're also looking for more villains to be added from the Rogue Gallery, right? Like we talked about it a couple days ago. Mysterio would be a great addition to this lineup, right? Like the Lizard Man, I'm a lizard guy, so like if they show him off, I'm into it, you know? But like who are they going to?
You
when
mean
we
like you're
get
into
the
lizards
Duffy?
as animals?
You know, my first pet I ever bought was a lizard.
No way.
Right? Did I ever tell you this story?
No, never.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Please do.
At
What was
18
its
years
name?
old, I
Hit me
moved
with
to
a name.
Tahoe, and I was like, you know what, Nick? I need a pet in my dorm room
Gotta have
because
a pet
every
in your dorm
jabroni
room.
needs a pet in their dorm room.
Oh, I'm
so
so
we
glad
went
I
to the
wasn't there
pet
for your
store,
pet
right?
phase.
And like,
Pet your dorm.
there's a fish, there's a frog, and I look over, there's a bearded lizard, and I said,
Bearded
"Goddamn,
lizard.
that's the coolest thing I've ever seen." It's Godzilla, right?
Yeah.
Now, mind you. When we talk about amphibians, we talk about certain pets, they don't want to be your pet. They just want to live, you know what I mean? And so I spent every dollar I had. It was $520 was the
Holy
total. Spent every penny I had. I think I drove to my dorm room with like $10 in my bank account. We proceeded to get to the dorm room, put the lizard in the cage,
Priorities, man.
sand, lights, everything. And I looked at my friend now 3 minutes later, I go, I don't want this anymore. And we proceeded to take it back. And the man behind the counter said, I saw that from a mile away. Here's your money back.
I don't want this anymore. I'm actually shocked that you took it back and didn't just let it go out into the wild with the rest of the creatures in Tahoe, Mike. That does not in Colorado. So survey says for the venomized villains,
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
has
Tim
a
answered
lineup,
that
so-
really right off the rip, just right off the rip confidently, and I responded confidently.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is thinking about it a little bit more. I don't know that we see them today.
Okay.
I
hit
think
the
they'll
note,
be in the
Kevin.
game, but maybe.
Kevin, give me a no. Here we go. Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Unfortunate.
I want to give a shout out to Alex BXNY for 3 months of subscriptions over on Twitch with the tier 1 subs. And StreamRig has gifted a tier 1 sub, but has not asked a question. StreamRig, let me know if I missed that somewhere, but I do not see that there.
Maybe
let's
just
see.
supporting. Maybe just supporting the stream out there.
Ben Hutchison has subscribed at tier 1 for 29 months and said, will Andy cry when Bloodborne 2 or Remake doesn't happen? Will Andy cry? Will tears of joy and or sadness come from Andy's eyes today?
Negative. No. Negative. Because I think I'll be so hyped with everything else. I'll be so excited with everything else. And also, like, I'm becoming more and more of a realist about this, Tim.
Yeah.
You know, it breaks my heart to say so, but
What's that mean?
just losing faith. I'm losing hope.
Losing faith in Bloodborne 2, losing faith in Bloodborne Remake.
In Bloodborne Remake, because I don't think that that's actually what Blue Point has been working on.
Well, here's the thing, though, Andy. Like, from what we're seeing now, I'm still convinced in my heart of hearts that Blue Point is involved in Metal Gear Solid.
Don't show me
Remake.
hope. Don't do this
But
to
having
me.
said that, all the rumors now are saying that Metal Gear Solid 3 is going to be multi-plat. If it's multi-plat, it's not going to be Blue Point because Blue Point's PlayStation Studios now. So if that's the case, they've been working on something.
Don't give me hope, Tim. Don't do this to me.
I don't know.
Mike, what
I'm
do you
like
think?
Jeremy Renner in the Avengers.
Does Andy cry today? Does he weep tears of sadness or joy?
Oh, yeah, he weeps tears of joy. There will be something in this PlayStation Presents. I don't want to name names, but there will be a game that Andy will weep at. And
don't
he's
wanna
going to
name
go
names.
wild for.
Survey says,
Don't want to reveal.
yeah, Andy's going to cry.
Oh, wow. I'm going to
He's
cry.
going to cry
It's
like
happening.
a small child.
That's exciting. I love crying out of happiness.
Yeah.
It's just a good release, you know?
Yeah.
I just let the leaking liquids from all sorts of spots.
Leaking liquids.
Leaking liquids. The good part over on YouTube gave us a super chat and said over under 2.5 quote unquote superhero games are at the show today.
I like this question. I like this question, right? Because you have Spider-Man. We've talked a little bit of Wolverine, right? So now you're hitting the 2 if Wolverine is there, right? Like that's a big if already. Spider-Man, he's got the spotlight, right?
Yeah.
How many more superheroes can we bring, right? But we've seen Marvel's Midnight Suns. We know superheroes are hot right now. So other developers, maybe third party, who knows, will come in with some superheroes. But I'm going to go under on this one. I think we're getting Spider-Man, and that is the main focus here.
Yeah, because Wonder Woman being on the Xbox side of things, right? Is Wonder Woman multi-plat?
I don't know on that one. I think that's going to be multi-plat.
I don't expect to see it here either way. But
Are we going to get
more Suicide Squad?
other than just first parties? Like, because
Oh, yeah.
so,
100%.
if so, I think the rumored Remedy Doctor Strange game could show up today.
Oh,
Putting that out there.
it could.
Putting a little.
It could.
Just a little tidbit.
I'm not
Little
seeing
kinda
anything
neat
here,
that for
but
y'all.
someone in the chat, let me know what's up with Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman is with Warner Bros. Games. Okay.
Yeah.
2021 was the trailer. So we've had some time since Wonder Woman.
Well, I imagine that'll be more of a Summer Game Fest thing, not a PlayStation thing. I'm just wondering, like, for some reason, I remember it being Xbox exclusive, but that doesn't sound right at all. So that's the one question I got. Let me know.
Let's see what the survey says.
I hope it's maybe. Yes, it's yeah.
I mean, we're getting a ton of superhero stuff. There's
So we're
no
getting
way.
over 2.5. We're getting 3 or 4.
At
superhero
minimum
games.
7.
Shit. Okay.
Minimum 7.
It's not Xbox exclusive. I still don't think we're gonna get Wonder Woman in this. We're gonna get Spider-Man. Wolverine's a maybe. Getting over that, like that 2.5. Like there could always be like an infamous remake or something like that comes out of nowhere, and like that could push it over the edge. But I'm gonna say no on that many superhero games.
All right. I want to give a shout out to Drake Summers, who has subscribed with Prime for 7 months. Destroy the Moon has also subscribed with their Prime for 29 months straight. And Average Gamer Hotline has subscribed at Tier 1 for 29 months. Currently on that hot 29-month streak. Appreciate you very much. We got another super chat from Santiago Toledo. It says, any updates on hardware today? PS5 Slim, PS5 Pro, external disk drive, PS Vita 2. I'm glad to see the best gamer on The Office finally on a showcase.
Thank you.
Much love to Nick. Much love to Nick. I mean, I'm assuming we're getting some sort of hardware updates today. But Tim, what say you?
I'm leaning towards no.
Really?
But wouldn't be surprised if it's there. We're in a weird place with this showcase that I think more so than ever leading into it, so many things could be there, and I wouldn't be surprised one way or another. It's just like we're teed up, and like, yeah, it could be time for some of those things, but it also doesn't need to be because I think they have enough games to speak for themselves right now without needing new hardware. But they could totally just drop it, especially as like a quick little tease of some like disk drive thing or Slim or whatever. What's up, Andy?
Tim, Nick, can I leave a super chat?
For a question?
That you might read, yeah.
Absolutely. You
Okay,
may.
I'm going to do so
You
right
may.
now.
Yeah, it's interesting on the hardware side, right? Because you go through it. We just had PSVR. You've already had the brand new DualSense, right? So you've gotten some accessories, but there was that possible rumored PlayStation handheld that was the, all Wi-Fi or 3G enabled thing. So like, could we see something like that here?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but maybe. You know what I mean? But yeah, are we at the time where it's time to show a PlayStation 5 Pro? Is that the moment now?
It could be. I don't think it is, but it could be.
I'm still
Andy?
typing.
Okay, you're typing.
Did I accidentally send in a tip without typing in a question? I think I may have.
You can just whisper it to me as well.
Double it up. Help the company.
Double it up, help the company.
Double
Greg's
double
got
it up.
a kid. Greg's got a
Double
kid.
it.
Greg's got a kid. He
Greg's
needs
got a
money.
child.
Greg's got a
child.
kid. Yeah,
Getting
my
bigger.
question doesn't really have to do it with this little question right here, so we could just move on.
Fantastic. The
Yeah.
survey says for this, are we going to get some updates for hardware? Yes, PS6.
Wow.
announced
Wow,
today.
PS6?
PS6 announced
Heard it here
today.
first, everybody.
There it
Leak,
is.
Nick
We
Scarpino.
dominated this console generation. We're going to leave Xbox in the dust by getting ahead of the next console generation. PlayStation
Strategy that's
6.
never failed.
It's
unless
never
you're Sega.
Fair enough. So, side note, I just queued up Console Wars. I've never watched that before. It's a good documentary.
I haven't either, actually.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it tonight. I'll let you know. Let you guys know how it goes. I'll write
Have
a
you watched
report.
Tetris? Have you watched Tetris yet?
You know, I tried.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
It didn't grab me the first I didn't love it, and I think I segued over. Actually, I wanted it to be Air. I wanted it to be tighter and a little bit
Air
more
was great.
succinct, and I couldn't get into it, unfortunately.
My
Interesting.
my
Little
super
story,
chat's in,
though.
by the way.
Oh, your super chat is in. Let me go find Andy's super chat right now.
$5 super chat.
Is
Is Paris going to be here? Paris is not in town.
Okay. The Nitro Rifle has given us a $5 super chat and said over under 3.5 slight subtle shots at Xbox. Great question. Great question. Little jabs.
Just little jabs.
little knifey.
Like, and by the way, our fucking console does blah, blah, blah. We have the best for, like, sort of like little things like that you go, oh, I know who you're talking about.
So what kind of,
What, did you write this one in?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Every once in a while, like how Phil Spencer will do like and like during all the cross-play issues, we don't care how you play or where you play, he would kind of do stuff like that. Like, do we get anything of that nature from Sony?
I say no. I think maybe arguably there'll be one or two things that we're like, you could argue that. But I think with the format of the showcases, which remember, these are not the ones with like the random woman voice, like the state of play. It's like these are the ones with the fancy transitions and stuff. There's not too much room for people to talk that way. You get what I'm saying? So I think because of that, I think it's going to.
They're not on stage.
They're not on stage. Yeah. So.
Boop. Yeah. Okay.
Next one comes in from Ryan Donbaha. Says Rocket League debuted on PlayStation. Oh, wait, maybe I went too far back. That might have been from earlier today. Hold on, everyone. Vamp for a second. I've lost my place.
Yeah, super chats get kind of weird.
I mean, you can do some subtle jabs, right? Because you talk about like 60 frames per second. That's going to be big on everybody's mind. You'll probably push that out there. Acquisitions. Maybe, hey, our acquisition went through, something like that. If they have anything to announce. I don't know if this will be the time to show off anything like that.
They've just never done that. And correct me if I'm wrong on this. Like, Xbox uses its showcases or whatever it is to be like, yo, we've acquired companies and here's the logos and stuff. To my knowledge right now, like PlayStation does that stuff in blog posts or things like that. They don't normally.
Didn't they do the famous one where they were like, "This is how you share a game on PlayStation"?
I mean, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And that wasn't even during a conference. That was just a random video they uploaded.
Ryan actually did ask a question here. Do you think we'll get a long-anticipated Unreal 5 update announcement?
No, I don't.
No, not here.
This isn't really
Not
the place for that. Yeah, no.
Jace Drone gave us a $2 super chat, but because it's hilarious, I'm going to read it anyway. I predict Mike gets overheated and loses the coat.
You never know. I'm like Katy Perry. I have a couple of different outfits.
Kevin survey says.
So you never know what I could bring.
Buy glasses.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm going to wear glasses today.
100%.
Thank you. That's part of my outfit, Jake.
Losing the coat, 100%.
Do they help your vision?
Yeah, I'll be able to see it. You know what I mean?
See what?
The screen over there.
Can you see the screen? I didn't even think about that. This is the first time that it actually matters that Mike sees it.
No, we did the Game Awards on this.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll live. Mara over on YouTube says, despite Insomniac already having Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, do we see a new Ratchet and Clank game? It's been 2 years since Rift Apart.
No.
Probably not after 2 years. But I would like to see more Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, of course.
I think we will for sure. But yeah, I don't think this is the one.
Yeah.
I was looking at.
I say no.
Yeah, I mean, we'll save it for more of the prediction side of things, but like looking at some of the dates lining up and looking at your first party teams, it is interesting because there's a lot that has already been within these past 2 years that like the team is now done and exhausted, you would say. And then there's a couple of studios where you're like, okay, interesting. What could they be working on? When is that time to announce? Because there's teams over here where it's like, hey, what is up with this PlayStation London team over here? And also Fire Sprite as well. What are they making?
I mean, there's those guys, but I'm going all the way up to some of the bigger dogs too, like Naughty Dog. We know that they're working on factions, but like they're definitely working on something else. Sucker Punch, what are they up to? Like, there's a Sony Santa Monica, Cory Barlog stuff. Like, there's a lot of options for like some major heavy hitters here.
Do we get a Ghost 2 teaser? Some sort of just Ghost 2 logo or acknowledgement that yes, this is in the making. And a lot of these developers also, like, when people get angry, and understandably so, about like, wow, they're just showing a logo, we know this game is like 5 years out, 4 years out, or whatever. A lot of that is for hiring purposes. A lot of that is to put eyes on their studio and their next project so that they can bring in new workers and artists and programmers and all sorts of stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw like just some sort of acknowledgement that Ghost of Tsushima 2 is being developed.
I'm so with you. I think it's gonna happen.
Overly Jammy asks another Bloodborne question. Any Bloodborne news? Do we see any Bloodborne news on this at all? Andy, that's to you.
I'm gonna say no, just so I can. I'm like hedging my bet right here. Like I'm gonna say absolutely not. I'm doing the thing where like you vote against your own fantasy football team, Mike. You know?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And if you win, your fantasy team wins, and if you lose, your actual team wins. That's what I'm doing here. Like I'm gonna say no. But I'm going to be extremely stoked if anything does pop up.
All right. 8-Bit Luis over on Twitch has subscribed at Tier 1. Thank you for that.
Thank you, 8-Bit Luis.
Folks. Remember, you guys can subscribe to us. We Twitch stream every single day, Monday through Friday, from 10 o'clock to pretty much 2:30 every week. And we'd love your support out there, guys. If you're watching us on Twitch, please consider subscribing to our channel. Hit that follow button. Make sure you guys are getting notifications from wherever we're going live. We do all the games news, all the games coverage, and we play games as well. We're here to entertain and inform you guys every single day. And we love you. Thank you guys to everyone out there that's joined us. And thank you for all of you guys giving us the super chats and the subscriptions right now. Just like 8-Bit Louise did, said, will Nick be dropping hot with Mike and Andy on the new Last of Us Factions multiplayer whenever that drops?
I need keyboard and mouse. I might have to plug in a keyboard and mouse into my PS5 like Nick did at the beginning of the pandemic.
It was fun. Locked at that hot 30 frames per second.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
For
not usually our cup of tea, that kind of style of game, or what it could be, right? We are usually just the Call of Duty Battle Royale guys,
The
right? But like,
jabronis,
we
yeah.
could be interested in something like that. I think the name recognition alone will get people to jump in, right? But the question is what is it, right? Does it have that driving force? I think the name gives you so much, but when we talk about this competitive multiplayer landscape right now, you got to really bring something special, right? And I don't know if it will be enough, but it'll be fun to see what they got. And I really look forward to that.
We're probably gonna find out today.
Yeah.
King Ven writes in with the super chat over on YouTube. Says, will there be a game announced or shown today that Nick will for sure play on day one? Please don't say it's Biodome. Tim, you think there's anything I gotta play day one that's announced today?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Spidey. You really don't think
He
he's
didn't
going to
like
play
Spider-Man
Spidey?
1.
He didn't
He never really like got
That's
in.
wild.
Never got into it.
The real John L with a $5 super chat. Thank you, real John L. Says Tim will somehow knock over his drink onto Andy's iPad from across the table.
Potentially. I mean,
That happens.
that's the weird thing is like there's so much potential for hype here. But at the same time, we're just at the year of dreams turned into a decade, turned into a lifetime that like things that make me absolutely fucking like I can't believe this is happening. Like I don't know that they exist anymore. But I hope that they do.
Kurt Lindsay writes in and says, do we see a deep dive of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and a release date?
Deep dive, no. Release date, probably not. Do we see it? It's a 50-50, man. This is going to be a good-ass day. We're 50 minutes away.
I think we 100% see it. I don't think that it's going to be any sort of, like, here's what to expect from the next game. Like, we kind of know what to expect, right? Like, I don't expect any dynamic shifts in gameplay, so I don't think we'll see a deep dive for quite some time.
Mike, what say you?
It'd be pretty special if we see it, right? And then the conversation is going to have a lot of twists and turns on that, right? Because, yes, I am the Xbox guy over here, but now we get to part 2 of this, and there's still no Xbox release, right? And you just sit there and go, the conversation now picks up again. Will we ever see it over there? What's happening?
Probably not.
Yeah, if you show part 2, the conversation gets really fun. But I'm excited to see a part 2. I can't wait because what they did with that was really something special.
Survey says? Maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
there you go.
little
There you go.
maybe, little maybe on that.
Great job.
Let's see. Zockstar Games, thank you for that subscription at Tier 1 for 21 months over on Twitch. Dan the White writes in and says, does somebody break a laptop or spill a drink on a laptop today? Dan unfortunately asked and answered. The answer is, what was that answer, Andy? Yes?
I
Is
mean,
it
I would
still
hope not.
Maybe.
Not from this far away. Not with the big-ass screen behind us and all the new tech we have here. Tim is nodding his head yes. Like, Tim's going to make it happen somehow, and I'm very
It's on them. It's on them. They bring the heat. You know what I mean?
The Indie Boy has subscribed with Prime for 78 months. No question here. Just said, wow, that's a long time. Love you
What's
all.
up, Mark? How's it going?
Love you right back.
Are you going to, like, I imagine Tim invoicing Sony if they pop up with something super hype, and then he destroys something. It's like, that's your all's fault. Here you go.
But Andy, you're not. Are you taking into account the spit take? Tim loves the spit take.
I'm not
Triple
a spit
H.
take
I
guy.
love him doing the Triple H thing.
No, that's great. That's great. You know what I am going to break out, though? The bubbles.
Ooh.
Oh,
the Summer Game Fest.
I
I
love
mean, yeah,
Bubblegum
they have
for
a
the
very
hype.
bubbly theme for Summer Game
Yeah.
Fest.
Xander
That's for
writes,
the showcase. You got to wait for that.
yeah, no, you're not getting Bubbles right now. Bubbles and Nick don't mix. You got that's for the real life
No.
stuff. Xander Murray writes in and says, "Will Kendall win the Game of Thrones?"
Oh,
No.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. A couple more shout outs. Hoppo6666 is subscribed with Prime for 68 months. Kid Kaze has subscribed for 16 months with Prime as well. Let's see. Little Mac 2112 has written in and said, Monster Hunter World 2, let's go.
You know, that is a very good prediction that I wish I made during the Gamescast. Or PS I Love
This
You.
one.
Yeah.
You think for this showcase,
Yeah.
not Summer Games Fest?
Thinking back, yeah, because Monster Hunter World was first shown at E3 for PlayStation in 2018. I want to say
Holy
it was
shit.
it was that and Shadow of the Colossus remake that Bluepoint did. So I think so.
All right. What say you two?
That's a great one. If that happens, I'd get very hype. I'm very excited. I loved Monster Hunter World. I have not really enjoyed my time with Rise afterwards. I'm not really into that art style in that one. I like the more realistic look to it. So yeah, if you give me World 2, I'm going to get very excited.
I think that may be something we see at Summer Games Fest.
And it could fit there too. But just the ties of Capcom and PlayStation, like when you think back to any of the, you know what? No, it's here. It won't be Summer Game Fest. Like Resident Evil remakes, Resident Evil 7s and 8s and like the new ones and the Monster Hunter games, they're all, if they're exclusive to PlayStation or if they're on PlayStation, they're.
You ever pluralize it? I always pluralize games. I always mess up. I say Summer Games Fest.
I had to like
Summer Game
Oh,
beat it out of
interesting.
myself.
Well, of course, guys, your opinions matter, but we have to leave it to the gods of the computers.
Uh-oh,
What
here
say
we go.
you? Oh, yes.
Wow.
It's happening.
Damn it.
Tim came out of that gate real strong, and the computer believed him.
Damn it.
He likes the confidence.
Shout out to A. Tucker in 1988 for your Prime
Tucker,
sub for
what up?
35 months. K.A. Copy has subscribed with Prime for the first time. Right on. Thank you for that.
I don't know where we are with the super chats. We may have skipped.
We might have skipped a couple because
Okay.
yours came in, and of course, I prioritized your friendship
Thank
and
you.
your
Thank you
camaraderie
very,
of all
very
of them.
much.
So please
Wow,
feel
so
free
nice.
to roll back and ask us a few more that I may have missed.
I have one I want to read from Tommy Goodale. Says over under 1.5 Naughty Dog games showcase at the showcase.
So I'm sticking with it. I think that we get Last of Us Factions, whatever that is. And I also think we get a Last of Us 3 announcement. I don't think it's going to, I think, it's, hey, it's happening.
Okay.
I think we also get the I'm going to say over. I'm going to say 2 because I think we get Factions and I think we get whatever the next Naughty Dog game is.
And
I
on
don't
top
think
of
it's
that-
Last of Us 3.
I think that there's another potential of a Last of Us 2 PS5 Definitive Edition, something or other.
Oh.
I'm saying yes to this.
What's up with Uncharted? Let's be real. I want Uncharted. I don't
Especially
want
after
it to
that
be over.
commercial.
Yeah, I want Uncharted, right? And even if it's not from Naughty Dog,
won't
I
be.
hope that this team is cooking up something internally with all their studios going, who's going to carry the torch?
Yeah.
Because Uncharted is an awesome franchise that Sony has under their belt, and that needs to continue. That is a really special game that needs to keep going.
My prediction that I made on PS I Love You for Uncharted, Mike, I think you'll like this one. Everyone, the betting man would say Sony Bend.
Yes.
Working on this, right? Like, there's been a lot of rumors for that, maybe San Diego or something like that. But no, I was getting spicy. Bluepoint makes an original Uncharted game. They're saying they're working on original stuff. They originally did the Nathan Drake collection. That was one of their first major PlayStation projects. There's lineage there. I think they got the talent. I think they got the stuff. Spicy bet, but I'm rooting for it, and that's what I want to see.
You got me excited with that one, Tim. Yeah, I got to see Uncharted. I don't think it's time to say goodbye to that in any way, shape, or form.
It's still wild to me that, like, I had posted about this several weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, that, like, Demon's Souls, to me, Remake is still the most visually impressive game. And that's what I thought was, like, marking the next gen. And then since then, you know, the chip shortages required a lot of games to be sort of backwards, cross-platform and cross-generation. But I am like still blown away by the talent that Bluepoint has in order to make that game look the way it does and run the way it does. Whatever they're working on, I know is going to be a surefire hit.
We've got quite a few super chats. I'm actually going to do a little lightning round here for you guys. We're going to
do
go
it.
down the line. Kuzi P wrote in and says, Knack 3?
No.
No.
Knack is dead.
I don't know the next dead. I just don't
Knack
expect to
is
see him
dead.
today.
Kevin put up a no on the board.
You
That's-
really
that's-
don't think Knack is dead? Like, you truly believe that Knack could return in some way, shape, or form.
Where there's a knack, there's a way.
I
There's
think
so
Wow.
many. No.
I think Gabe Logan is going after him. That's
Yeah.
part of the mission.
Let's see. A little Max. I think we read that one already. Just jump. Tim's jacket and Mike's turtleneck is absolutely superb. Sending love as always,
Thank you.
gents, and happy showcase day. Says Dave Hype. He says just jumped in and ready to roll.
Thank you.
Let's see. Downey Downerson says a new siphon filter, but it's still just a PlayStation 1 game, and it's only on premium PlayStation Plus tier.
Miles Ellis with a question for $5. Thank you for your super chat, Miles. Not really a question we can answer right now, I guess, but it says he asks, "Do you think PlayStation saves any announcements for Summer Game Fest?"
No, I don't.
They blow the load here.
I mean, I think you do, man. It's all eyes on them. It's their showcase. Like this is their time to redefine what being number one can look like. And like that's why I'm so excited about this. Is like there's so many things that would blow our minds from this showcase that are potentially going to happen. That like for this to be a disappointing showcase, I think that PlayStation will have royally fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's many times that that's been the case.
Interesting. No support for Jeff Keighley and his show. You don't think they hold something, right? Like we talk about the support and bringing in that industry to help Jeff Keighley, right? And like you've seen Phil saying, hey, we're backing that, we're helping that. We've seen other teams come in. And if you leave him stranded out there, right, you really start to go, man, Jeff Keighley doesn't have the juice on certain companies, you know?
You kind of led me into a perfect thing.
Lay it on me.
Stranded. Death Stranding 2. Summer Game Fest. I could see that.
Okay.
Trending.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's past tense. We got him back. He was stranded for a while. We sent AAA out there.
We connected the knots.
We connected
I don't
the
know
knots.
if you saw the threads. We connected it.
Ben D writes in and says, Killzone teaser / show card, and show card, no specific date, only the year. Anything on Killzone?
No.
SOCOM time. No more Killzone. It's SOCOM time.
It's SOCOM time.
Oh, Tim, it's definitely SOCOM time. Like, for real, when you look at that, you bring back SOCOM. For real.
Wow.
I mean, we know all of their. We know they have a lot of studios trying to support the multiplayer.
For sure.
The Sony knows what they're weakest at, and they're trying to get stronger there. Sony, a lot like Bill Belichick, Mike.
Yeah.
They understand the weaknesses. Let's work around them, right?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say no to Killzone. I wouldn't say no to any sort of I mean, this has nothing to really do with the games, but the fact that we're getting a fucking Twisted Metal TV show, just like all bets are on the table.
Because anything amazing can happen. You're right.
I mean, amazing is,
SOCOM,
any IP can come back.
SOCOM, Killzone, then Resistance. That's my lineup of what I would prefer.
Knack on top.
right? But like Resistance, I don't care for. I don't want that one back. Killzone, I love Killzone. I'm a big fan of it, but I like what Guerrilla's cooking up with that world, right? So give me SOCOM.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I think it's a little too early. Like the multiplayer side, they do need that type of stuff. I think that with Factions being the big one, I think Factions style of gameplay and SOCOM style of gameplay, they're not the same. But I do think that they're in a similar vertical that I think Sony would rather do more a focus on like a first-person shooter.
And I don't see these IPs coming from any of the original studios. I think all of these are the
like
new
you said, yeah.
acquisitions.
I mean, SOCOM can't even do that. They're gone.
Yeah. RZ Jones asks, Kingdom Hearts 4, yes or no?
I'm gonna say no, but dude, with Square and PlayStation's relationship recently, like they could totally come out and be like, yeah, motherfuckers, it's exclusive. And like the thing with Kingdom Hearts 4 is it's been announced. It's real, it's happening. And as we all know from Kingdom Hearts, that means at any moment we might get an awkward trailer with no sound effects. You know what I mean? And we'll get many of
Just
them.
music
over
and
years.
dialogue.
But there's some like I don't.
Artistic.
My answer's no on this one for today. But I do think that there is a world where Kingdom Hearts 4, PlayStation marketing or exclusive, and they're like Star Wars world, Marvel world. Like that's the news.
Does the prediction agree with Tim?
Let's
we'll
see.
have to wait and see.
Well,
wait and see, everybody.
no. Yeah, there it is.
Agrees with
Agree with
Tim.
Tim. Metal Gear Gaming writes in and says, I'm going to predict that Metal Gear Solid reveal is PlayStation VR 2 missions.
Go to hell.
Hey, dude,
Wow.
honestly, I mean, if that was the only announcement, I'd be upset. But that sounds pretty damn
Like
cool,
if
though.
Metal Gear was exclusive to PSVR 2, I would vomit in my mouth, like on stream.
Adam Ginther writes in and says, do you think we'll see a live service Little Big Planet game?
No.
No. Okay.
No from me, Nick.
Kingdom Hearts 4, yes or no?
I already read that.
Oh, you read that one already. Are we caught up already?
I think we're getting kind of close.
Ceasefire says that any chance we finally get some. Chances we finally get something, anything Legacy of Kain related.
Nah, like that would be a Summer Game Fest for sure.
Yeah.
if
Big a title.
it happens. No, just like the legacy of it, the Legacy of Kain, if you will.
Oh,
Nice.
Tridy Sent has written in and says, big love to everyone over at KindaFunny. And in the chat, my girlfriend is moving in with me tomorrow. I'm looking forward to indoctrinating her into the KindaFunny best friends. Maybe we don't use the word indoctrinating.
Yeah.
Maybe we say like introducing her.
Welcoming her.
Welcoming her.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah. Maybe we should shy away from words that they used at Waco, Texas, when they were rating that compound. Let's see. First time chat from JA. A copy says, will Last of Us multiplayer have a battle royale mode?
That's
No,
gonna be
I think it's just.
interesting.
I think it's just going to be an extraction type game. I think it is going to be a very, very like big sort of approach to the genre. I don't think it's just going to be round by round, like super gamified. I think it's going to be a lot more kind of open in its exploration, but it's still going to be at its heart a sort of like Mike, think of the Cycle Frontier.
I'm thinking, yeah.
But instead of going back to that home base to go load up, it's maybe one of the little home bases that you are kind of little communes you're making with other people in the game.
Yeah, that's the interesting one. Like I said, right, it will be very fun to see it finally and understand what it is. Because what's hot, of course, is the Battle Royale, but also this extraction shooter that everybody's really enjoying as they're coming off of Battle Royales and still looking for something competitive, going, man, I want to chase that rush, but I don't want a Battle Royale. And that is what this extraction is right now. But the question is like, will it be like The Division? Will it be maybe the Dark Zone type vibes? How do you capture an audience and make them stay? Because the name is going to get people, but the gameplay and what it actually is has to land. And the fun part about this is like right now, the first-person shooter audience is looking for what's next, right? Like they want to move away from Battle Royales, but they don't want to at the same time. Like, what is that next thing? And it is cool. Last of Us has a great opportunity to maybe make a new flag on this one.
Yeah.
Pyro Alex writes in and says, currently mowing my yard listening to you guys in anticipation for the showcase. Do we see more than 3 new IP today? If so, give me which developers do you think are showing something off?
3 new IP across first and third party. Fuck it. I'm going to say yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
shit. Okay.
Tim's riding the lightning on this.
Because I'm going to say, like, I'm going to be a little Price is Right, a little bitch about it. I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say, like
interesting.
First party stuff, we're going to see a lot of familiar names, right? We're going to get updates on things that we were shown a long time ago. And in a much like broader sense, we're going to see more gameplay from the IP that we already know. But I don't know if we see, like me predicting that Naughty Dog's going to show off their next IP and it's not going to be The Last of Us. I think that may be one of them, and that's maybe it.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at it, right? Like, London Studios has something new in the works. They have a multiplayer game that's new, so that's going to be a new one right there. But then I look around, like you said, right? It's like, I don't know if you go past 2 in my mind. I think 2 new IPs is probably what you're going to see out of this one.
Do you think a lot of the multiplayer stuff we get, or we know they're working on a lot of multiplayer sort of games, and that's what they're trying to like strengthen? Do you think those are going to be based on older existing IP? Or are they going to be brand new things? Because I know that we've seen stuff come and go like Destruction All-Stars and Arcadegeddon. We've seen a lot of like little attempts here and there that maybe aren't like full bore. We're putting all of our money and budget into these IPs. Like, what do you think we see multiplayer wise?
I think it'll be a mix. The problem is I just don't know how much of it we're going to get today. I don't think we're going to get all of those games, but just we know how many studios are working on the games as service titles or whatever. And remember, games as service doesn't necessarily just mean multiplayer, and that stuff. It could also mean, or live service is what they're talking about. Like MLB The Show and things like that also count under that. So I think it's going to be a nice mix leaning on established IP. I think you look at Destruction All-Stars and you're like, all right, well, maybe less of that and maybe more Horizon multiplayer, which they've already kind of like talked about, as well as Last of Us Factions, and bringing back things like Twisted Metal. That, like, all jokes aside, I do think we're going to eventually get one, and I don't think it's going to like set the world on fire, but I do think that is a good example of like going back to the well of owned IP that could like make sense for those type of games. But then I think you do get some more just new things. And will they not work? I don't know.
Let's go to the board. What does the board say? Yes,
Oh shit!
it's happening.
Okay.
15 games going to be announced today. Brand new
Jesus,
IPs. There it is.
brand
Love
new
that.
IP.
A lot of them.
Brand new IPs. Tommy Goodall, I think. Did we read this one already? Over under 1.5 Naughty Dog games showcase at this
Yes.
showcase. We did read that already. Thank you for that. We got the Metal Gear VR. Slayer _419 over in the Twitch chat says has subscribed at tier 1 for 23 months and asks a very pertinent question: how many sub donations to shock Nick?
Oh man.
Absolutely not. We are not doing that. We're not bringing that energy.
How about
into
100?
100?
Yeah, 100.
Sure, 100.
Right now. I mean, there's 2,000 best friends watching over on Twitch.
No, you mean
There's
one
an-
bomb. He wants one bomb.
Oh no, I meant if we get 100 subs right now, we'll shock Nick.
If we get 100 subs in the next
I
5
don't like
minutes.
how you're convincing
He
me
loves
to do that.
offering
You know what I
everybody
mean? Let me
else
spell
up.
it up for you.
I'll tell you what, we get 100 tier 1 subs right now. You shock me and Mike.
You get
How does that sound?
okay, 150.
No,
we'll do both.
200. Let's yeah.
No,
100.
200 for me and Mike. We get
I'll take a shot called
300. Andy puts 4 shot collars on his arm. And we just shock him until
We
have
wake
to
him up
re-shock
right
him
now.
to wake his heart back up.
I
How does
love that. I
sound?
love that.
Do we see? I have a question that I'll submit. Pretend I'm giving you money. Nick.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great.
Here's a,
Very nice
here's a
of you.
super chat. There you go. Do we see the next Housemark project?
Like, Andy, how crazy is it that every time you ask me, I'm like, I think we could. Like, totally. Why not? Right? Like, it'd be the perfect amount of time for them to bring it up and at least talk about what that is. The bigger question for you
Returnal.
is it Returnal? Are we getting Returnal 2 or is it something new?
I think it's going to be Returnal to something of that sort of big budget and size. I don't think we're going to see. I think that they know what worked for them and they know that they saw a lot of success. And yeah, I'm super stoked to see whatever it is they're working on next.
Yeah, they found something special with Returnal.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like you said, the size of it, right? When you think timing wise, that could be a good one. But yeah, do you go much bigger than that? Do you stick in that size, that time frame, so you can keep turning and burning? But yeah, I totally agree.
I can
Andy,
see
on that.
people making the argument, and it'd be a good argument that like they'd want to do something new. Housemarque normally does, but you look at things like Hades, right? Where I think that Hades was an equivalent type of breakout for a smaller team that's very talented, that people have loved and respected their previous titles. But Hades comes out, Returnal comes out, and it's like, oh, whoa, y'all are on a different level. And then we got Hades 2. So, which by the way, we got fucking Hades 2. It's
crazy.
coming, baby.
That's
Let's
crazy
go.
to me.
ZOVGM gifted or subscribed at tier 1 for 23 months and said Tim's drip equals game of the show.
Thank you.
I mean, this guy looks so good.
He's looking great.
appreciate
The
Need a haircut,
flags
though.
has
Not good.
subscribed.
I'm proud of you,
Gotta
Mike.
go
for
see
getting
my
your
boy
haircut.
Rob. Hey, Rob,
Yeah.
thanks for. Rob is watching with the boys over at the shop right now, so I
Got
want
you
to
up
give a
on the
big
big
shout
screen.
out. Hey, thanks, Rob, for watching, and of course, make me look fresh before the big.
You look
showcase.
great, Mike. And
Thanks,
what I
Mike.
love about Rob is that he's bringing up the fade maybe a half inch every single time.
I love it.
Eventually, it's going to be a mohawk.
I love.
just want you to know that.
Hey, one day I would like to do that.
I
you know?
mean, tight.
we
We'll go
tried
together.
we tried the mullet. Maybe
You
one day.
you put this in black and white. It looks like he's about to go try to kill Hitler across overseas.
Yeah.
Send me over, baby.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Fog Knight, thank you for that Prime sub for 40 months. Kojo1990, thank you for that Prime sub for 3 months on a 2-month streak. Appreciate you there. A couple more questions have come in on the super chat. Let's see. J735 said, I'm late, so don't know if it's asked already, but over under on hearing about Barlog's new game.
I mean, I'm saying yes, everybody. Like, I think it happens. Like, in the Tim Geddes Get Hype, you're planning the showcase, you start with Spider-Man, wow us all, and then you end announcing Corey's next game.
That's so much.
And you have Last of Us in the middle.
I mean, you
I
can make a
love
big
that for
splash
us.
when you talk about all these things, right? They have so much to show and so much to talk about. I mean, you could make
So much
a
to show.
really special thing.
In
the back seats, you never know if you're gonna grow.
Like a right now.
God, I'm bummed I missed that. I wanted in, but
You
I
had it.
didn't pick up on
You
what it
could've
was
jumped
until
in.
it was
I wanted
late.
in.
And then I was like, oh, it's too late.
Sometimes you miss the boat. You just got to catch it.
Oh, sometimes, all the time with me. Norman writes in and says, do we see an Astro/Blood and Truth size first party VR game today?
I'm excited to talk to you.
right?
I mean, here's the interesting one. It just came out. It's time to start showing off why you would buy this
Yeah.
product or why you own this product, right? And I mean, I think people who are in the VR space are happy with what they got. I think people on the outside are looking in still going, what is the selling point? And it will be very interesting to see how many VR titles do we get? Is there one that stands out and goes, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable, right? Because the VR space right now, there's some great titles, but there's nothing truly like that where everybody has to drop what they're doing and run over there. So I would look and like to see something big, but I don't know. Half-Life Alyx, is a great game, but more. We need more.
I mean, I feel like Half-Life Alyx would be big. That isn't necessarily an answer to the question being asked here, but I do think that I'm surprised we haven't had it announced yet. And at this point, I'm kind of wondering, like, is there a reason for that means it's not going to happen? But, I mean, they need it, man. They need something. And this is where you show it. I don't think you focus too much, but they did say PSVR 2 will be here. And if it's here, what are you going to talk about? It better be something good.
Big Bear Monty subscribed over on Twitch for 20 months straight at Tier 1 and said, do we think
Thank you.
we will see something that will make Nick excited? Probably not.
Yeah, I think something
Do you
exciting.
think something?
Yeah.
You think there's something out there?
I mean, dude, we're
gonna
talking
get my
about
old blood boiling.
We're talking about some of the most talented teams there are, and like we're talking about franchises that are like the big ones. But I guess you're not the biggest. PlayStation
Andy,
guy,
am I easy to impress, Andy?
Look, I would say no, Nick, but Nick has turned a corner with our Elden Ring adventures. Nick is
True.
kind of like
So true.
I thought, Mike, 3 episodes in Elden Ring, it would have been done.
We were
right?
done. Yep.
This adventure has gone on for so long for us, and I think Nick has kind of opened up a new realm of what he's into gameplay-wise. We saw it happen with Warzone at the start of the pandemic, and first-person shooters kind of making a comeback in his life. What I really, really want to do is have him give God of War 2018 a second chance. We play it on PC. It looks gorgeous. You got your dodge. You got your parry. We experienced this beautiful, glorious story together.
Maybe I will, Andy. Maybe we'll do that on one of our daily Twitch streams here on twitch.tv.
Because he's playing through Mass Effect for the first time.
Or youtube.com/KindaFunny games, guys. Please think about becoming members or subscribers over there because we play all the time long. And I'm halfway through Mass Effect, I'm happy to say. Right? Halfway through, right?
Something like that, yeah.
The Citadel's the only level that you go to.
Hours are going by.
Hours are going by.
Throwing even more ideas like that. I'm just putting it out there. Spider-Man 2's coming. Now it'd be like a good August game. Spider-Man 1. Get
That is
Nick
true.
on the right side of history here.
Dave Hype gives us a £5 super chat and says, any Elden Ring news at all? Anything on Elden Ring or Armored Core?
No, I think all of that is probably for Summer Games Fest.
They're bringing that. That's what he's
I think From Software has had a really good relationship with Keighley, and I think that's going to continue.
Yes.
Tyler Washington writes in, says anything from Bend? I think we asked that already, but
No, we didn't answer that.
No.
I'm leaning no, but it's time.
I'd say we have to.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right in that it's been so long since there has been an update from Bend, and this reminds me of like listening to podcasts beyond back in the day.
Totally.
It's like, where's the next Bend thing?
project?
Where's the next
Where's the Bend
project? Yeah, I
project?
think it's about time we do see something from them. Now, what is it? Is it Days
Uncharted.
Gone again? Is it? Oh, really?
It's not Days Gone.
Get out.
I think Sony Bend Uncharted is.
I meant more
think-
genre. Like,
I think it's the most likely outcome from them right now. Like, I don't think it's a slam dunk, but I do think that betting wise, I'd say that is like a 65%.
Robocop for President is gifted Tier 1 sub to the community, and I want to remind everyone not to listen to anything Mike is typing into the chat right now because he's trying to get me shocked like hard.
I think
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
easily
We're about 50 subs away from that, which is really
Okay.
great. But I will remind everybody, don't forget, if you're watching over on Twitch, you don't have to watch ads at all if you subscribe at the tier 1 through 3 level or for free with Prime Gaming. You'll get ad-free viewing throughout the big showcase. And of course, you'll get it for 30 days, which is going to encompass all of the big showcases here, really heading into June. So if you subscribe today, don't worry, you'll have a full 30 days before you have to re-up that subscription. You're going to get Ubisoft, you're going to get Xbox, you're going to get Summer Games Fest. So a great time now to get that ad-free viewing over on Twitch if you want.
I'm going to gift 5 out there for the randos in chat that aren't subbed. And you better
Appreciate
tell me
that.
thank you because I need,
Johnny gifted a $10
acknowledge
super
me.
chat over on YouTube, Mike. This one's for you. Says there's been a lot of talk about Bungie's involvement with PlayStation's live service efforts in the last few days. Do we think we get a teaser or something from there?
I don't know if we're ready for a teaser, as of course we're looking at Destiny 2, but I think we will start to see Bungie's hands helping these teams and studios all around. So we might start seeing some multiplayer games and then some news breaking later on in the week or afterwards of like, hey, Bungie's heavily involved or Bungie's been sharing useful tips for us to make a great live service game. Of course, I always talk about it on the Xbox side of things. Halo missed that live service mark, right? And having a team like Bungie who is really dialed in the live service thing is going to elevate this PlayStation service so far when it comes to these multiplayer games, live service games, whatever they are. you have Bungie in your corner, it's going to help. But I don't think we'll see a true Bungie game announced here at all this year.
I agree.
Dean Rivera writes in and says, love Kinda Funny and listen every single day. Just curious, who's actually boss over there? LOL, just curious.
Me. I make all the
Probably
financial
Mike.
decisions.
It's mostly Mike.
definitely Mike.
Yeah, mostly Mike.
Yeah, Mike is. Mike bought 7 bearded lizards.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets it at their desk.
Dust Bucket wrote it and said, Bioshock, ?
No.
No.
I'm going to step away for just a minute.
I do think Bioshock Summer Game Fest,
You gonna get the
Yeah,
shock
not a
collar?
bad prediction.
Let's keep going, guys. Thank you guys for all your support, and I apologize if we can't get to all your questions. We got a lot coming in, and I believe we're going to wrap this up in the next 5 or so minutes.
Pretty soon, yeah.
12:44, because we do want to get ready for the actual showcase itself and bring Greg back out here and presumably Blessing, I'm assuming.
Greg,
as
Bless
well.
joining us. The crew for the reactions will be Andy, me, Greg, Bless, and Mike. It's going to be a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. Like they were just saying, definitely subscribe on Twitch to not get the ads, give some subs, be a good part of this community. It's a great time to do it right now.
Guys, here, folks, listen to me. You don't want them to get to Corey Barlog's next game, and they're about to announce it, and the lights go down. Metallica comes out, or some cool band that's awesome, right? And they're about to just shred
topical, yeah.
as Corey is going to come out and throw up the God of War signs, be like, I'm ready to rock.
Corey
and roll
walks
on
out
this.
with a guitar.
And then all of a sudden it's like
Whoa.
this. Hey, do you want HelloFresh or whatever the ad's running in front of us?
Hey,
and shout out
Purina
to HelloFresh. Yeah,
or something.
exactly. You don't want that, folks.
No,
So please
you
consider
don't.
subscribing to us. I'll ask you just a few more questions as we get over to it.
I have a super chat that I want to read from Hella Drove. He says, "Hi guys, I've never been acknowledged, so here's some money. Been watching you guys since Nick's birth. What, 2 centuries?
Wow. Well, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for watching.
Not how time
thank
works.
you for the nice setup on that.
James Wood writes in and said, "Do we see IO's Project 007 today?"
Oh,
You know,
that seems like a summer game.
Seems Summer Game Fest, but I think it's gonna happen. What an exciting time, everybody!
2 more questions, guys, and then I'll quickly scroll through the Twitch subs to see if there's anything over there.
Ooh,
Michael
Jeter
writes
fan
in
gifted 5 subs. Thank you, Jeter.
and says, "How many patented Andy Cortez
Captain.
world premieres will we get today?"
World premiere.
That's your first one right there. My
There you
guess,
go.
1.
10.
So
All right,
I
Andy,
was
let's go eat real quick.
I was setting the I was setting the over under Nick for I was setting the over under Nick for how long
Just leave me
it
out here.
takes
It's fine.
before
I'll answer
Greg
the rest of these questions.
how long it takes Greg to make fun of Mike for Xbox. I was like, is it 5 minutes before Greg talks shit to Mike about Xbox? And it's like, hey, ready to actually see some games here, Mike? Like, how long do we think it takes for Greg to take a shot at Mike?
Oh man, that's a great question. 5 minutes under.
I was gonna say 8.5, and Mike was like, no way, it's like 5.
It's 5.
Yeah.
Easily 5.
All
Easily
right,
5.
we're gonna go eat before we go on.
You guys
stage.
go have fun. You guys have 15 minutes. I'll just stand here by myself for a while and read more questions and talk to the chat a little bit. Andy and Mike, what if we get NBA 2K24 with Wemby as the cover athlete for Go for Wemby? There you go. Andy says that would be awesome.
Wemby would be hot, but I don't know, like, how early can you get into those contracts, especially since you just got picked up and drafted in there?
That's just a great question.
Yeah,
That's a great
yeah.
question.
I don't know
Solid
how
Earl
those
actually has a
business
question
dealings
for
go.
you, Barrett. David Hayter or Kiefer Sutherland for Snake? Hard question. Hard question
See,
for
like,
asking today.
My troll answer would be Kiefer Sutherland.
Of course, that's
just to
everyone's
piss
troll
people. Like,
answer. Yeah.
it's the monkey's paw situation where, like, yes, you get Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, but it's Kiefer Sutherland, not David Hayter. Blessing, how much would your heart break if that was the situation?
It'd break a little bit, but I'd get over it. Like, Metal Gear Solid 5, special game. Bring back a special man for it. You know what I mean?
Real
Special
quick,
game, special man.
Barrett, can you come in here?
Yeah.
Thanks.
The way you said it.
What's happening out there? Everyone's just leaving. I don't like this. I feel like there's a prank going to be played. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I'm great. How are
Looking good
you?
today.
Are you excited?
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah,
This
thank
is
you. I
always the thing
appreciate
that everyone in the office
Wait,
lights
is this
up. Everyone
Barrett or
watches
is this
it.
Mike?
That is Andy right now. But you can take my seat if you'd like. I can scooch over. What do you want? You want to helm this from the middle? This is your Super Bowl. So.
It is my Super Bowl. I
Would you
like
like to
batting.
switch
I
with
like
me?
batting on the end.
Okay,
But
bat on the
Andy's
end.
ass really
That's
warmed
fine.
this seat up, you know?
Well, Andy's
Jesus
got a
Christ.
dumper. We've all talked about this before.
He's ripping him into this thing.
He's back at a dump truck, back up into the studio every single
I
day.
appreciate it.
Folks,
Appreciate
that's
that
gonna.
Mike decided he only wanted to dress up for the predictions part.
Yes, for Nick.
Not for our show. The rest of us are dressed up. Okay.
Mike's running fast and lean, bro. I don't know what to tell
Like, is
you
that
guys.
green that you're wearing? You're wearing green to the PlayStation
Insult,
Showcase?
man.
Mike, just
Insult.
FYI,
Can't
we're at
stand this
269 subs. I
Mike,
think we
as
went
an
up about
Xbox fan, you're probably not used to this. We're going to see games that are going to come out soon that are going to be good.
Wow, that was
Exclusive.
that was negative 5 minutes for the prediction. That was a prediction. We were wondering when you were going to start talking trash to Mike. I had 5. I have over 5. That's great.
I'm ready for you to get shocked.
I guess I have to get shocked now too, which is funny because I really have to go to the bathroom. So if I end up urinating myself on set, I apologize.
Pee
everyone.
pants.
Greg, here's a question for you
Hi.
because I don't understand it. Mara writes
Sure.
and it says, "Does Pragmata resurface?"
Oh,
It's a great question.
I
would
think so.
think not is where I was going to
No?
go. I guess. I don't know.
Isn't it supposed to come out this year?
Yeah.
I think that might have been a 2023 game.
Yeah, I guess it has.
And
to
that
be.
is Capcom. And Capcom and PlayStation
Yeah.
are like this, you know? Like we got Street Fighter at a State of Play. We get Resident Evil stuff at PlayStation things all the time. Pragmata was a PlayStation showcase reveal at that. Were you good?
Greg just blew his ACL out of the desk.
Andy's done something to this chair. I don't
Yeah.
know.
You know
I
what?
can
I'm gonna
prove
say.
that.
I think we see Pragmata.
That's a good pull. I did forget
Great.
about that. Nick, when I say Pragmata, do you think of Stigmata?
Yeah, I really do.
Remember that movie?
I vaguely.
Stigmata.
The one who's like, you got the stigmata on your hands.
It
You
wasn't.
got the tip of spear. Zambui Fu, thank you for that tier 1 sub. Let's see. Birking, oh, hey, thank you for that tier 1 sub. It says new Metal Gear Solid collection. That's what I'm predicting. That would be cool. Mr.
that.
Pee Pee Poo Poo has subscribed for 5 months. And the only reveal we need is new Resistance game.
I heard Mike talking shit about that. He doesn't want a resistance.
Mike doesn't understand what anything is going on there.
They got Halo Infinite over there.
Yeah, it worked out.
Let's see. Gia Cologne 12 is subscribed with Prime. Says, "You guys are the best. Just use my Prime sub. Thanks for doing all you do. You got me through some rough times. Hey, right
You
back
get us
at
through
ya.
the rough times too.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's keep
Thank you
scrolling
very
through here,
much.
guys. Rose Runner, thank you for that 52 months of Prime subs with that Prime sub. Remember, folks, show's about to start. This was the pre-show. I know it was so entertaining. You're like, who needs
There's
the
more?
PlayStation Showcase? But of course, the big game is coming up next. If you guys don't want to watch that with ads over on either of our channels, please consider subscribing, specifically on Twitch. We got a lot of ads running. We want you guys to get everything ad-free, and that's very, very simple, especially if you have Amazon Prime. You can do that with your Prime sub. Saw some people asking in chat how to do that. Please answer them, because I'm going to be gone in about 5 seconds. It's pretty easy, guys. You guys can actually click that little button right below the screen, and it'll walk you through it. Just like Max Sin did, subscribe with Prime just now for the first time. Thank you for that.
Wow.
And Slayer, I see you there, 419. And when you said, quote, "I didn't think they would go for it," Nick, you know they're going to go for it. They love watching me get shocked. What's happening here? Is it starting?
I believe they're gonna start up with their 15-minute countdown
pre-counter?
here
Got
thing. Yeah. But you can leave it up there if you want. Kevin
No, that
or
was just
Barrett.
a quick test. I probably won't pull
Got
that
it.
back up for a little bit.
Jacob the Dark Knight, thank you for that Prime sub for 20 months. OMGLX gifting 2 subs to our community. OMGLX, great to see you there as you are every day. Smashing success. Subscribe with Prime for 31 months. I got the mud mouth today. You know what I
I've
mean?
got that too.
I don't know what's going
Did
on.
you have coffee this morning?
Yeah,
That might be it.
it thickens it up.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Dries up
It really
tongue.
does. It's
I really don't like it. Let's see. Blessing.
What up?
What's your number one prediction for today? What are you excited to see? What do you think is going to happen? that you want?
Number one prediction.
Mhm.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, which I don't even know if that counts as a prediction anymore because it's leaked so much. But that would be the one I would get most hyped about. That would be the one that I'd get most excited about. I'd love to see another Astrobot game. I think that'd be pretty exciting. Ghost of Tsushima has been my, this is what you close the showcase out with. But the closer we get, the more I'm like, I don't know
Not a
what's gonna happen.
chance.
Yeah, like I'm scared that it's not gonna happen. I'm starting to believe it might not happen. But like I think if that showed up and closed out the showcase,
Just
I think
believe it
that'd be
won't
dope.
happen, and then you can be excited if it happens.
I mean, that's fair. That's a good point. I think that's what
Pro
Andy's
maneuver there.
strat is. Yeah.
That's how I live my life. Quarter mile. at a
Ready
time.
for disappointment.
Always ready for
I
disappointment.
would also love
but
something
accepting
that
of
is
good things.
Soulsy, whether that's like maybe Elden Ring DLC, but that seems like more of a Jeff Keighley thing that you'll be able
Yeah,
to get.
the guy. We had a couple questions come in on that. And everyone kind of unanimously said it's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
It's more fun games fest.
An
night.
Armored Core trailer would be dope as hell. But that's
How
another
much
one that
have we seen of Armored Core 6?
we had the OG trailer from the Game Awards, and then we had a trailer that happened like a month ago when Xavier Woods came in, and that was a gameplay trailer that looked dope as fuck. And that game comes out in August, so we've had 2 trailers so far. I could see it getting one more, but I could see it being a Jeff's thing because that seems like a Jeff Keighley joint. He has that relationship with From
Yeah.
and being
For sure.
Mean Gar gifted 5 tier 1 subs to the community. Thank you, Mean Gar. Omega Buster gifted 5 subs to our
Omega
community. Thank you so much for that. Brother Sill subscribed at tier 1 for 64 months and says, not sure if this has been asked, but do we see either Eternights or Stellar Blade today?
Stellar Blade you will see 1000%, I think, because that's a PlayStation published game that is slated for this year, and so I would think they would want to hype that up. Eternights,
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Eternites.
Eternites.
I really want to see.
I feel like it's too small. I want to
Yeah.
see it too, but I feel like that fits more for a Summer Game Fest than a PlayStation Showcase.
yeah, that was revealed at a State of Play.
Yeah, that feels state of play level for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think that the next time you get an update on that would maybe be just like a trailer they release on their own, or maybe if there's a State
If
of
you have
Play
a
later in the
release
year.
date, maybe
Yeah, I mean,
one of the
it's-
SGF showcases.
It's supposed to come out this year, and so like
But now you have a date.
maybe if PlayStation does want to treat that like a Stray, and if let's say if
Sure,
it has a date
sure.
in July, they can prop that up as, hey, this is this year's premier indie game. Like last year we got Sifu and Stray.
Yeah,
This is gonna be one of those for this year because that game looks dope as hell.
Slayer, I hate you. Thank you for those gifted tier 1 subs. Man, they like shocking me, Greg. I don't know what to tell you. People like
Shock
seeing
me,
in
shock
pain.
me, shock me.
Will you take a shock with me?
Sure.
Cool. Dropkick Tondo, thank you for those
I need to
gifted
get
kind of
juice.
funny memberships over on
Oh, look at
YouTube.
this flannel Mike's got.
Oh, Mike's got a flannel. Mike's a
Yeah.
flannel guy.
Look at that.
Super Bright has actually
Bright.
given us a $20 super chat and said, I've been following since back in the IGN days, about 10 years now. Just wanted to send some extra love. Thank you for that, Super Bright. Appreciate it very, very much. Oh, man, what a fun day. OMGLX gifting 2 more tier 1 subs. Unique 26 with 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you for that. Risk Runner 0 with 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Wow, a lot, guys. A lot of love over here for getting me shocked. I appreciate that. Turns out, Greg, when you turn on the shock faucet, they never want to turn it off.
They love that shock faucet.
do.
They'll lick from it all day long.
Jesus. Give it
Like a
to
little
me.
kitty.
Damn,
Like a
it's
little
like that
kitty.
hamster meme. Just taking down that water bottle. AF Pod, thank you for those 5 gifts tier 1 subs and another 5 gifts tier 1 subs for
Is that a
10.
Jollibee cup? What is that?
No, that's Bonhomme Carnival.
Oh, gotcha.
Canada's finest export.
Yeah, it's the thing that his wife is really scared of, and he likes to scare her with it. It's terrifying, actually. It's like a big,
I told her
doughy
this
snowman.
is a true story. Nobody really cares. And if you don't know Bonhomme Carnival, go ahead and look it up. But I dreamt 2 nights ago they added him as a skin to Fortnite, and I was so stoked. I was like, I gotta go play Fortnite. I gotta go get this Bonhomme.
You see what they did add to Fortnite, the Spider-Man stuff?
Yeah,
Spider-Verse. It's really cool.
it is. Again, my headcanon, I can't see Spider-Man or Miles or Gwen running around with a gun. Beating
Not
boots
yet.
on the ground. That's why my Captain America skin works. You say not yet. That's why my Captain America skin works so well for me.
They only have like
Doing
they
this,
have
Mike.
Batman skins in that game, don't they?
They do.
Is it canonically?
I have the Superman one. It's just I don't use it. That's what I would do with those Spider-Man ones. That's what I'm saying.
Dusty W with the $5 super chat. Says, how do we feel about seeing about The Last of Us Part 2 director cut showing today with multi? Question mark.
No.
No.
If,
I don't
if
think
you're
they'll be
getting Last of
connected.
Us, you're just getting factions. IMO.
All right, Mike, I'm going to take a quick break while you sit here, and then we're going to get shocked together.
Oh, we're gonna switch seats.
We don't have to switch sheets, but I just have to go to the bathroom, and I'm
you
worried the
just turn
shock's
that
going to
up.
bring it out of me, so I'm going to do it real
okay, I
quick
was
and
gonna
come
say, why
back
don't
and
we
get shocked.
and then you leave. You know what I mean? Because we're all about to take over. But yeah, if you think
Yeah,
you
we don't
can
have that
take
much
it out-
time.
Give me
If
2
you're
seconds.
going to pee your pant.
Give me 2 seconds.
Don't pee your pant.
Nick, it'll take 2 seconds to get shot.
He's going to pee his pants, Kevin. Did you not just hear this man? Bladder control.
all right.
To it. I'm an old man.
Now I hope you do it just for comedic effect.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
I
I'm
hope you do
gonna
it for
hold it.
comedic effect.
Ooh,
I
I
don't think
can't
it
wait
will.
for this.
Just
You don't
hold it
think it's
tight.
gonna tell through your skin? I don't
Hey,
have any
just hold it
rubber
like
on.
Mike's holding it. Don't you worry.
Yeah, just like that.
Kevin, give it to me.
Kevin, put me in, coach. He's peeing his pants.
I think I felt it like
Today.
a little bit.
That's one you forget about. You know, you're thankful when it doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I know. Did you do it, Kev?
Oh,
Go pee. He did it.
Shock me?
go
He
pee.
did it,
He
okay.
got it. He got it.
I thought I felt it.
Good job. Good job out here, Nick.
Yeah,
Like
give
the
me a real one.
predictions.
Give me a real one with Mike's. I need a real one.
You want mine?
Mike's. What is it?
Kevin-
They all
Kevin's
turned them
gone.
off. They all turned them off.
He just
It's
left.
over. We got to get
Yeah.
going.
He ran
We're
off.
supposed to be live on the other video already. It's
gotta go.
pandemonium.
All right, we gotta go. I love
It's
you guys. Thank you.
pandemonium.
What number do you have?
Nothing. It's gone. It's gone.
It's gone. We gotta start. Thank you all. Love you.
We
Thanks
love
for
you,
being
Nick.
Part of this. Bye.
Peace.
All right, everyone. So here's the deal. If you're watching on Twitch, you're in the right place. Just keep staying there, and we're about to live react to the PlayStation Showcase. If you're on YouTube, we need you to migrate to a different live YouTube feed. If you're looking in the chat right now, Barrett's going to drop the link to that for you to be able to go get over there. We're going to then switch over. It's a different video. It's unfortunate. I wish YouTube didn't work this way, but it's how it works. So I need each and every one of you watching on YouTube right now to go to that new link. You can see it right now. Kind of Funny Games just posted it. Go check that out. Everybody, I want every single person here. There are 5,245 people here. I want to see that many people on the other one, Greg.
Get it?
If you're not over there, this is like a chain letter. Bad luck for 14 of your friends and family, all right?
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
Remember chain letters? Remember that? You get the chain emails back in the day in AOL?
Oh, yeah.
You don't forward this to 19 people, your cat will die. Like, fuck.
Saudi princes and stuff.
Oh, yeah, when they need the money, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone. And if for people that are in this YouTube chat, if you see people that are confused in a second, please just let them know. Go over to the next one.
This blazer is so fresh.
Thank
And
you.
And we'll
I
see you
love it.
kids in just a second. Tim, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go when you are.
We'll be back in just a second in that new YouTube link.
The new.
Yeah, in the new. If you can't find it, you can also just go to our main YouTube page. You should be able to easily find it there.